This stadium bears his name, and Frank Clair's teams remain the standard of greatness in Ottawa. But it's been some time since these fans have had a champion worthy of comparison. Tonight, they're curious to see how Dexter Manley fits into an Ottawa team struggling to salvage a season of discontent. The Rough Riders face a Toronto Argonaut club that has also been plagued by turmoil, but appears to have its troubles in the past. Who wins tonight breaks free of last place in the East. The Rough Riders' last victory came the last time they met the Argos. A last-second touchdown by Stephan Jones, the difference. Enter Dexter Manley. Against the better judgment of the coaches, the owners decide he's a solution. Ron Smeltzer is left to make it all work, a job his assistants refused. What's old is new again in Toronto. Bob Obilovich is back at the helm of the good ship Argonaut. He dismantled the run-and-shoot offense and unshackled quarterback Tracy Ham. He gave the ball back to Mike Clemens, who's bouncing like a pinball all over again. Ironman Don Moen has seen the best of times and the worst of times in Toronto, and last week he christened the successful return of his mentor. It's Toronto versus Ottawa for third place in the East.
The CFL on CBC. Tonight, from Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa, the Toronto Argonauts against the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, he may be number one in your program, but he's certainly not number one in the hearts and minds of his coaches and teammates. Dexter Manley begins his second comeback tonight with the Ottawa Rough Riders amid a backdrop of controversy and dissent. This is the vote of confidence Manley received just yesterday from head coach Ron Smeltzer. Quote, "We're going to go with him until we feel he's hurting the football team." It's a sideshow, and it comes on a critical evening for both teams. Both the Argos and Rough Riders come into this game tied for last place with identical 2-9 records. This is the first of a home-and-home series between these two teams. So the outcome tonight will have a large bearing on who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. It's an interesting mix under the big top here in Ottawa, and for their thoughts, let's go to the broadcast booth now and welcome Don Whitman and James Curry.
Thank you, Mark, and Big Top is an appropriate description. As a matter of fact, some in the nation's capital, James, have said the goings-on of the past couple of weeks have resembled a three-ring circus. Dexter Manley is the number one story, but Brian Bonner runs a close second.
Brian Bonner was brought back in the midst of controversy also, Don. He was a late-season release by the coaching staff, but the owner stepped in once again, undermined the coaches, felt that they needed to bring someone in that they liked personally, brought Bonner back under the disruption of the players and the coaches.
Two players on the Ottawa roster tonight that the coaching staff does not necessarily approve of. Over in Toronto, the return of Bob Obilovich resulted in a big win in his first game over Winnipeg, and he got two players back into the offensive mix who hadn't really been employed most of the season.
Well, really, two of the last four MVPs in the CFL, Pinball Clemens along with Tracy Hams. Bob knew if you were going to win, you had to have those two players in your lineup, and it produced a victory last week.
A home-and-home series between Ottawa and Toronto that should go a long way to determining the final playoff spot in the East. Mark?
Don, the nation's capital is quiet as the politicians beat the campaign trail. This is the only game in town tonight. The Riders and Argos. The kickoff is next.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only
Marathon Ford and Lee sponsor
dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast, but you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree. Subway makes great steak!
Steak lovers, put down your knife and fork and pick up the steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
You're not going to find a job just like that. Most jobs need at least high school.
Yeah, dropping out will get me nowhere. I thought you wanted to be something. I do, but I can't take it anymore.
Whether you stay in school or drop out is your decision. For a free brochure that might help, call 1-800-461-2525. On to...
Marathon Ford in Leamington is a proud sponsor of the CFL on the CBC Windsor.
It's my kind of game, Ma. It's fast and exciting.
Kind of like buying a new car or truck at Marathon Ford.
Leasing too, Ma.
Sure.
Folks, you owe it to yourself to check out a Marathon deal. Like the CFL, we're not the only game in town, but you like the way we do business.
Okay, son, go for a long one.
Marathon Ford Leamington. Oh, keep an eye out for a little old lady with a great arm. Or better yet, me, the Cardio King, for a great deal.
It's a beautiful evening in the nation's capital as the Toronto Argonauts get set to kick it off to the Ottawa Rough Riders. And will this be the final coaching game of the 1993 season for Ron Smeltzer? There are some who are suspicious that if his team does not win tonight, that the ownership of the Ottawa Rough Riders might pull the plug on Ron Smeltzer's coaching career. He's definitely in a no-win situation, and you really have to feel for the guy, one of the nice people in the CFL, and he is operating under a very difficult situation. Bob Obilovich, the new head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, hired as head coach on the 10th of September. He changed things around in Toronto, and he got the Argos off on the right foot under his regime with a victory over the first-place Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Argos preparing to kick off to the Ottawa Rough Riders. Lance Chomick teeing the ball up. Patrick Burke and Walter Stanley are back to receive. Takes it at the 7-yard line. Good downfield tackling by the Argos as they limit his return to the 19. Pleasant and McCurdy were there to make the tackle, a 12-yard run back. Tom Burgess, the Ottawa quarterback, and Coach Smeltzer was saying that in tonight's game he'll give Burgess a lot more help in play selection inside the score zone.
Well, he needs to learn how to be more patient once he gets in that red zone, Don. He has to learn how to utilize his back, circling out of the backfield, learn to find his slot backs coming over the middle, hit them with the short dink passes. Hopefully they can pick up extra yardage after the reception.
Rob Crefo playing his first game as an Ottawa Rough Rider after signing on Monday following his release by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's operating out of the slot back position. Sean Daniels, the ball carrier, and Daniels picks up about 3 yards as he's brought down by Ken Benson and Darryl Milburn.
Very conservative play on first down, coming with a search play, getting the ball to Daniels deep in the backfield, allowing him to pick up his hold in front as offensive linemen let their blocking develop. He only picked up short yardage on it. Now Tommy Burgess has to make something happen on 2nd down and 7.
Ottawa again going with a 5-receiver set. Sean Daniels, the lone running back. And on 2nd down, Burgess swings it out to Daniels. Daniels is going to be stopped well short of a first down, however, as the Argos did a good job of shutting it down as Don Moan and Ken Benson came over to stop Sean Daniels at the 25-yard line.
Excellent flow by the Argos linebackers on that play with Benson and Moan moving over. Moan has been converted into the middle linebacker position. He's played very well after moving inside from the outside weak side position. But that play with Tommy Burgess, that's something you want on first down, not 2nd and long.
Ray McAreedy recruited as the Ottawa kicker for tonight's game. He arrived in Ottawa last evening, worked out this afternoon, and has been added to the roster as the result of an injury to Terry Baker. Now, the last time that McAreedy kicked in a CFL game was preseason a year ago with the Edmonton Eskimos. The Argos trying to put some pressure on him, and he gets away a pretty good kick taken by Clemens at the 42-yard line. And Clemens is surrounded and downed immediately by Paul Wetmore. Not bad for Ray McAreedy in his first CFL punt in over a year, a 42-yarder.
Well, you figure just yesterday, Don, he was teaching class in Toronto, and this evening he's in Ottawa trying to put on a kicking exhibition also, but an excellent job after being out of the game, really a regular season game for the past 2 years. Ray McAreedy has to feel very good about his initial kick tonight.
Well, McAreedy yesterday afternoon was teaching grade 3 and 4 in Etobicoke. Hopped in a plane last night and flew to Ottawa. Tracy Hand had the shackles removed last week against Winnipeg. He ran the ball very effectively, scoring a couple of touchdowns, and he gave the ball to the pinball, who scored his first touchdown since 1991 as a running back. And you have to wonder why the previous regime didn't give him the ball more often. And I think they're going to be running at number 1, Dexter Manley, very early in this football game.
Well, Dexter Manley got involved quite early in that play. He, along with Chris Green, the big offensive tackle, got in a little tiff right at the end of the play, and Dexter didn't like the extracurricular activity and got up with a little forearm to the face. Dexter's going to be involved early and often tonight.
Number 58, Darrell Smith, an import offensive lineman for the Argos, will be working on Dexter. The pass is complete. Zatilny takes it out of bounds for a first down at the 53-yard line.
Well, Wally has really been rejuvenated coming into this offense from Hamilton last year. He had played with the Ticats prior to that. Coming into this game, he was averaging 15 yards of reception, Don. Big yards for an inside receiver, and he's happy and comfortable playing in this offense.
And playing in this offense, 2 other guys are much happier and much more comfortable, and we spoke about them earlier. Quarterback Tracy Ham and running back Mike Clemens.
Well, also keep your eye on running back Warren Hudson. He'll play an integral part in tonight's contest.
Hudson provides some blocking help, but Ron Getz manages to get around him, and Getz makes the tackle. Tracy Ham took just a little too long in trying to find a downfield receiver, and Ron Getz came over to make the tackle. But you talked about Warren Hudson. He's almost like another offensive lineman, isn't he?
He's an excellent blocker. When you look at Hudson, right here we see Smith blocking down on Manley, collapsing him inside, passing him off to Verschoval doing an excellent job one-on-one. Verschoval was a late NFL cut this year, so he's very accustomed to that style of play from down south.
They're trying to get Dexter coming off the corner, trying to get him outside more in their defensive scheme than when he played last year. Ham completes the pass. The ball comes loose. They're ruling no catch. Robert Clark was the man that Ham threw to. It looked as though Clark had the ball, but apparently he was juggling it and came loose, and it's third down Toronto.
Typical mistake that a receiver will make, taking his eyes off the ball. But you see Manley again working inside on Verschoval. Verschoval doing an excellent job with the separation. Dexter getting there a couple steps too late, but he's hustling early in the game, and that's good to see on his behalf.
Walter Stanley and Wayne Walker are back for the Hank Olisic punt. He's returning to the lineup after being out since the 5th of August, suffering an injury in a game against Sacramento. Sardo came up the middle quickly, but the kick by Olisic is fielded by Walker down at the 15-yard line, and he returns it to the 24, and that's where Ottawa will scrimmage 1st and 10.
First, we invented the minivan. Then we raised the standard of the performance car. Next, we did the same for the sport utility and the family car, as well as the luxury car. And now, we're just getting warmed up.
Think you know sports, eh? Who's the wise guy? Get in the game with Proline.
Not bad.
Pick the right team. You win cash.
Not cash. Cash!
So play to win with Proline from Sports Select.
Are they good looking or what?
We know how sinus congestion feels. The pain, the pressure, because we're the sinus specialists. Sinutab has one concern, one expertise, relieving the pain of sinus congestion. Every sinus sufferer is unique, so we provide relief with specialized formulas. Why fight congestion any other way when Sinutab helps you leave it behind?
You know baseball? Get in the game, play to win with Proline from Sports Select. Pick the right team to win cash. All you gotta do is make the right call. You're out! You're crazy! You're still out!
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Dodge Trucks, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Hank Olisic's first punt of the ball game traveled 48 yards. Olisic holds 18 Argonaut records, and he's 257 punting yards away from becoming the all-time Argo leader in that category. Burgess throws complete to Ellingson. Ellingson dodges a couple of would-be tacklers and should have a first down out to the 35-yard line. This is the way the Ottawa Rough Riders line up. Burgess, the quarterback, with Sean Daniels and Darren Joseph, the backs, although for the first couple of plays they went with a 5-receiver set. Rob Crefo, a new addition. They're going to try and get the ball into the hands of Stephan Jones early in the ball game. He lines up at wideout with Walker on the other side. 1st and 10. Burgess won't get a chance to throw. Campbell and Poe bring him down. Campbell moved to the nose tackle position last week against Winnipeg, and he seems to be much more effective inside.
He has. Making that move inside into the front, in the middle of the front, he wasn't pleased about it, but Coach Obilovich felt that it would be for the benefit of the defense to make some adjustments, and Mike Campbell has accelerated. Obilovich felt that he had played his best game of the season last week, and he seemed to pick up the tempo even more tonight.
Quarterback sack takes the ball back to the 28-yard line. On 2nd down, Burgess steps up, and he was looking for Walker in the vicinity of the 45-yard line. It's incomplete.
As a wide receiver, you have to make an attempt at the football. You can see Wayne Walker watching Dave Van Bellingham coming from his free safety position and elected not to make an attempt on the football. That's what losing teams will do when a situation like that. Players won't give you 100% of the effort. You'll see right here at the end of the play, Walker could have basically gone after that ball, but gave it that alligator arm technique and pulled up on it.
Alligator arm, that's a new expression. Ray McAreedy got some pressure the first time he lined up to punt. Will the Argos try and go after him again?
It's odd. He wears number 99. Dexter wears number 1.
The ball takes a pretty good bounce for the Rough Riders. The pinball goes back to the 41 to field it. Penalty flag in the play. This is probably going to be a whipping call against the Toronto Argonauts. Tahan Lewis appeared to be involved after a 41-yard punt by McAreedy. And there's the call from referee George Black.
Well, the officials tonight seem to be right on top of things, and that time they made the proper call.
Illegal block on the return team. First down.
Bob Obilovich was telling us yesterday that he just wanted to go back to some of the basics when he was hired by the Argos to take over from Dennis Meyer. And of course, one of his first requests was for Dennis Meyer to remain with the team as the defensive coordinator. Paul Massotti is into the ball game, but before the play can get underway, penalty flags fly.
You know, Don, Massotti's an interesting story. Prior to being hurt, he was Argonauts' leading receiver with 22 receptions.
Number 63 in the offense, first down receiver.
But even more amazing than that, he was averaging just under 20 yards of reception. And, you know, having a wide out that was, you lose out of your lineup with those type of numbers really hurt your offense. And the Argos had been struggling while he was out.
Francois Belanger, who has moved in to replace Pierre Vercheval at left guard, was guilty of the procedure call. It's 1st and 15. Massotti out of the lineup since the 5th of August. The toss to the pinball. The pinball can't avoid Ron Getz.
Tremendous open field play by the middle linebacker Getz on
Ron Getz operating out of a linebacking position, and it was Ron Getz who cost Brian Connor his job at training camp. Tracy Ham at quarterback. The pinball at a running back position. Paul Massotti comes in. He moves to a wideout spot, replacing Robert Clark. Tracy Ham looks over the middle, throws to Zatilny for a first down at the 50-yard line. Remy Trudel, the safety, came up to make the tackle.
Great concentration by Massotti on the play. Paul Massotti, as we stated earlier, is having an excellent game. Tracy Ham able to get outside. Great block by Smith, who left offensive tackle. Guns this one puts a lot of mustard on the football. Massotti goes up with both hands, make that Zatilny. Both hands gets him on the ball, brings in the good reception.
6:55 remaining in the opening quarter. Still no score here at Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa. Quick pass to the sidelines, and Hazard will be very close to a first down.
Manny Hazard, an excellent receiver in this run and shoot offense. This is what he played in 4 years in college down at the University of Houston. Tracy Ham with the drop back time from his offensive line. Hazard on a deep square out route in front of us. Anthony Drawhorn makes the reception.
He was the team's leading receiver last week against Winnipeg with 92 yards on 4 catches.
Dexter Manley is putting a lot of pressure on early in the game, but can he keep up this tempo is going to be key to watch.
Well, Dexter has promised that his second return will be much better than his first. The ball dumped off to Warren Hudson, and he has another Toronto first down.
Warren Hudson, a big part of the Argos offense. He's very noted as a blocker, but he's an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield. He averages 11 yards of reception, and that time on a little slip screen by Tracy Ham. You see Getz right here getting the Ham as he lets the ball go and really pounding him into the turf. You feel those kind of hits, and they wear on you as the game goes on.
Ottawa using a 6 defensive back package now as Dexter Manley goes out. Joe Fuller comes in, the handoff to the pinball. He bounces off a couple of tackles and picks up about 4 yards before being brought down by John Kropke. It was a difficult decision for the coaching staff to make, as Smeltzer was telling us. When Manley was added to the roster, they had to delete either Librant Robinson or John Kropke.
Well, Librant, you know, Coach Smeltzer felt had been a little dinged up coming into this game, had a wrist and a knee, and Kropke was the healthier of the two. But it is a difficult situation because you have 2 excellent young defensive players who are developing, and you have to sit one of them down.
2nd and 5, Toronto out of the shotgun. The handoff to pinball. He cuts back inside and is going to be thrown back. Stopped short of a first down. Joe Fuller and Brian Bonner combined to halt Mike Clemens.
Joe Fuller did an excellent job coming up from his nickelback position, keeping outside leverage on Michael Clemens. Not often do you get a solid hit on Mike coming inside with a counter draw, trying to get around the corner. Joe Fuller comes up with his presence, fighting inside. Bonner steps in. Boom, they bring him down short of the first down. The Riders need big plays like that defensively. They got to keep the Argos out of the end zone.
Lance Chomick will be attempting a 37-yard field goal. .443 the time remaining in the opening quarter. Movement at the line of scrimmage, and if it's offside Ottawa, the Argos will keep the drive alive.
Mental errors haunt teams in situations like this. The Riders have been struggling, trying to come up with ways to win. This time they're drawn offside by the Argos.
It appeared as though Bruce Beaton jumped prematurely.
Offside on the defense, number 18. First down.
Joe Merrill and Bruce Beaton both moved.
What you do is you have the offensive line. They shift down into the stance, drew the defensive line off into that neutral zone. Great call by the offensive specialty teams of the Argos.
This one is going to be throwing the ball away. Charged against Tracy Ham as he was in the grasp of Angelo Snipes, and he threw it away.
A glimpse of the
intentional grounding on the offense, number 1. 2nd down.
A glimpse of the Riders' defense of last season coming in with the blitz. Snipes was noted for that last year, leading the league in sacks. That time it came on a circled around in the middle, up between the center and the tackle. Clean shot at Tracy Ham, able to get him wrapped up along with Getz and Kokla. Ham is called for the grounding on the play.
Snipes last year led the CFL with 20 quarterback sacks. Ham is going to operate from the shotgun. Hit by Bonner just as he threw. And as a result, the Argos will send out the field goal unit again.
Right now, the Riders are feeling a lot of success. They're bringing 7 guys up front. You see Snipes coming up the middle, Bonner coming from the backside untouched. You bring in 7 rushers, you only have 6 blockers. Somebody has to get there. Brian Bonner did it from his right outside linebacker position on that play.
So Lance Chomick will attempt a 42-yard field goal this time with 3:47 remaining in a still scoreless opening quarter here at Frank Clair Stadium. High snap. They can't get it away. Andrew Murray running with the ball, losing control of it, and it goes out of bounds at the 39. So the Ottawa Rough Riders take over with 3:33 remaining in the quarter.
Looking for a straight shooter? See me, Leo.
Leo's not only a straight shooter, he has great deals at Rasico Chrysler.
Great shot, eh?
Your best shot is to get down and see the Rasico gang.
I love this game.
You'll love the great trade-in allowance you'll get for your present automobile and the large selection of new Chrysler cars and trucks.
That's game.
See straight shooting Leo. See how easy it is to rack up a great deal on any new Rasico Chrysler car or truck in the Burg.
Anybody for tennis?
Coming soon, a dramatic breakthrough in window technology. We call it Window Power. And it's going to change the way you look at windows forever. Now at Ducana Windows and Doors.
During Window Power's introduction, receive free Window Power options, Power Spacer and Power Glass, plus early order discounts, an introductory 25% discount, and 25% off installation. Powerful incentive to act now during the introduction of Ducana Window Power.
Of the most violent cult in Canadian history.
One woman was nailed into a tree.
Rock Terrio's Legacy of Terror. Man Alive with Arthur Kent.
Join me for a new season of Man Alive, Wednesday, October 6th at 7:30.
This van looks good now, but it used to look like this. Consumers are being fooled into buying one-time write-offs. Tuesday on Marketplace.
Patrick Burke was able to strip the ball from Andrew Murray after
right
he had
here,
difficulties pinning him.
We got a situation where the ball hits Mazzotti in the chest. Too high. Lance Chomick missed his stride, have to pick the ball up. Patrick Burke chasing him to the sideline, able to get him out of bounds. Big play for the Riders defense.
So Ottawa takes over 1st and 10. The ball is at the 40-yard line. Handoff inside to Darren Joseph. Joseph will be close to a first down as he fights his way to the 50. He's stopped there by Benson and Patrick Wayne.
A delayed draw, Don. A new call for the Riders offense. Tommy Burgess, normally when he gets this deep in the pocket, he's going to pass the ball. Slides it right off his hip to Joseph. Joseph, excellent running up the middle, picking up close to a first down on the play, going to be about a half-yard short.
One of the problems with Ottawa's offense this year has been the lack of a solid running game. Burgess on 2nd and less than a yard will keep, and he should be able to get a first down.
That's one of the things when we were having our meeting yesterday that they were somewhat disappointed about. Last season, Joseph showed signs of brilliance, that he was coming into his own. This season has been very disappointing. Just a little over 300 yards rushing on the season. Reggie Barnes had been the league's leading rusher the past 3 years combined. Let him go after the first game of the season, and the running game has just not responded the way they wanted since his departure.
1st and 10 from the 51-yard line. 2:13 remaining in the quarter. Quickly inside to Climby, but Climby wasn't expecting the pass.
Not on the same page. Tommy Burgess, quarterback, recognized the soft spot in the defense. He saw the secondary laying off. Nobody was covering Climby. He fired. Climby had not read the coverage. They were in a deep zone. The ball hit him in the back of the leg, falls to the turf. Riders must give it up.
2nd and 10. Out of the shotgun. Burgess looks over the middle, throws to Stephan Jones. He made the catch in front of Kevin Whitley, and there is a late penalty flag.
Excellent route run by Stephan Jones on this play. He goes down, he sits down right in front of Whitley on the play. Excellent reception for getting the ball to his body before the tackle being made, and we have a flag on the play, as you said.
Objectionable conduct on the offense, number 89, after the first down has been gained. 1st and 10.
Well, Stephan Jones obviously said something to one of the Toronto defenders after he made the catch for a first down. Jones has an opportunity this year to become a 1,000-yard receiver. 3 times in the past he has caught passes for over 1,000 yards in his CFL career.
Well, you can't put scraps on football players for everything they do. Vocal is part of the game. I mean, you can't take that talk away from them.
This time it is Jaime making a first down catch at the 40-yard line. And that time he was looking back to the quarterback to see where the football was.
You got to look back. Tommy Burgess getting excellent protection from his offensive line. Nice tight spiral there. Jock Climby coming over the middle on his crossing route makes the reception. But to go back to that point, this game means a lot for both teams. I mean, and there's going to be a lot of jawing back and forth. The loser of this game is going to end up in last place in the East.
Well, did Stephan Jones say something to one of the other players or something to the official? Sean Daniels takes the swing pass from Burgess, and on the sidelines he's bounced out of bounds by Reggie Pleasant with 41 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
First, we invented the minivan. Then we raised the standard of the performance car. Next, we did the same for the sport utility and the family car, as well as the luxury car. And now, we're just getting warmed up.
I don't know about you, but my flexor digitorum superficialis is killing me.
My thoracolumbar fascia.
Painful?
Yeah.
Now there's Rub A535 Ice, a cool menthol gel that penetrates and relieves. It's for those muscles you never knew you had.
The threat of sexually transmitted diseases is a piercing reality. But there is a simple and dependable way to protect yourself. Trust Trojan. Reduce the risk.
Hi, give me a light. No, a lighting boutique light. Thanks.
Hi, may I have a light, please? A lighting boutique? Thank you.
Light, please. Lighting boutique light.
Doesn't anybody drink anymore?
Not with fixtures like those.
For a dazzling array of fixtures, it's Ray Patau's Lighting Boutique, 4072 Walker Road, Windsor.
The Rough Riders are looking at 2nd and 2. The ball is at the 32 of Toronto, and Ottawa is running a shuttle service with their wide receivers, Stanley and Walker, in helping Tom Burgess with his play selection.
Well, getting the plays in, this way you're not working the number system that they work the wristbands on. This way you know what's coming in exactly from the sideline.
4 backs lined up behind Burgess. Burgess gives to Darren Joseph. He's got a first down. Patrick Wayne, a former member of the Ottawa Rough Riders, prior to being traded to BC and then traded to Toronto, made the tackle.
Coming with that solid I formation, then you go into a scatter, is what you call when you send the 3 receivers out to one side, trying to hit the shift in the defensive front, running the search play with Joseph deep in the backfield, letting him find that open seam, picking up the first down.
Stanley and Jones lined up wide left. Now Jones comes across the formation. 1st and 10, the pass to Stanley. Stanley is decked by about 3 Argos, led by Wayne and Reggie Pleasant.
Running a quick hit screen, picking up just a few yards on the play.
And that is the final play of the opening quarter here at Frank Blair Stadium. No score between the Argos and the Rough Riders.
It's time to pick your own apple treats at Tim Hortons. Apple muffins, apple fritters, apple tarts, and apple cookies. All made fresh every day in our stores. Apple treats at Tim Hortons. Where A is for always fresh.
Dreams. Not just for yourself, but more for your kids. Yeah, hoping the future will be okay and they'll be happy.
Sharing.
You know, not seeing everything the same old way.
Yeah, like having an appreciation of how other people live.
Saying that's one thing. Meaning it? Well, that's another.
Bank of Montreal. We're paying attention.
Great. But as customers, we'll be watching.
First, we invented the minivan. Then we raised the standard of the performance car. Next, we did the same for the sport utility and the family car, as well as the luxury car. And now, we're just getting warmed up.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Dodge Trucks, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Welcome back to Frank Clair Stadium as we start the second quarter. The Ottawa Rough Riders are looking at 2nd and 6, and the ball is at the 28. Make that the 23 of the Argos. Stefan Jones goes wide right. Tom Burgess over the middle. Jock Climbey will score. There's a penalty flag on the far side of the field, but it looks as though it's pass interference or offside against Toronto, and it is offside against the Argos. The touchdown stand.
Offside, and the 70 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Something new by the Riders offense. You see Climbey working here in the slot, isolated one-on-one. They drop Milburn, a defensive end, back into the pass rush. He cannot run with Climbey one-on-one. They spread the formation by coming out with 5 wide receivers, and when you do that, you got to take your rush, and they converted the defensive end into a rush guy. He can't cover one of those receivers tonight.
A 23-yard touchdown reception for Jock Climbey, and McAreedy adds the point after as the Ottawa Rough Riders draw first blood in this battle of last-place teams at Frank Clair Stadium. Jock Climbey is headed for a career season. He already has 776 yards. He had 901 last year.
Well, Daryl Milburn, there's no way he can stay with Jock Climbey. You got the wide receiver with all that speed. Tommy Burgess getting a big sigh of relief right there, throwing that interception. He has to be very pleased with that drive he just engineered, and that's his 18th touchdown pass of the season. That's what he needs to develop his confidence. As you noted, Don, on that drive, he didn't try for big plays. He meticulously worked down the field, took what the defense gave him, and it resulted in a touchdown.
For Burgess, that was his 167th career touchdown pass. He's number 7 on the all-time list. Ron Lancaster has twice as many, 333. Jackson on the kickoff return, working his way up the middle, and he does a pretty good job of picking his way to about the 43-yard line, a 22-yard run back after a 55-yard kick. Right now, let's bring in Mark Lee.
Well, Don, Dexter Manley making his way back on the field. He was seen stretching for a while on the bench. Seems to be doing all right. He may be the most quoted player in the CFL these days. This one flashing across the country today. It's like Ali Frazier, he said. All setbacks are for comebacks, and this is my comeback. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's no doubt in my mind I'll rise to the occasion. Well, that remains to be seen as we get set for his first defensive series here in the second quarter, Don.
Well, rising to the occasion is more than what you're going to need to do in a situation like this tonight. The thing about a fight, in contrast to what he's saying, you have to go out there and work every minute of the fight. He's getting spelled tonight, and he's going to have to really be productive out here because really his credibility and the owners of the Ottawa Rough Riders, the Glebermans, their credibility is on the line tonight.
A rough play penalty against Ottawa improves Toronto's field position to the 54 of the Riders. Tracy Ham being chased by Kropke, throws to the sidelines, and it's knocked away. He was looking for Gordon, and Patrick Burke got over to knock it down.
Excellent play by the cornerback, Patrick Burke. The only Canadian cornerback starter in the CFL, Patrick Burke, did an excellent job on the break on the ball. Gordon did not work back to his quarterback. Burke made the break on the ball. Argos are very fortunate they didn't come up with the interception. Dexter working at the line of scrimmage, not getting any penetration at all on the play. Darrell Smith doing an excellent job of maintaining him at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10 from the 54. 7-0. The Rough Riders lead the Argos on August 26th. At the Sky Dome, as the Argos are called for a time count violation.
A violation. Order number 1. 2nd down repeated.
Tracy having a little problem there reading the defense, trying to audible at the line of scrimmage, not getting his play called in time. It cost his team 5 yards on that situation.
As I was saying, on the 26th of August, Ottawa won 26-25 on the late touchdown, 56 yards, Tom Burgess to Stephan Jones, when it appeared as though the Argos had a win all but locked up. 2nd and 15. Ham is again flushed out of the pocket. Ham overthrows Wally Zatilny, and the Argos will be forced to kick it away. Brett Young was defending against Zatilny.
Coming off the ball very hard on that play. Dexter Manley with an inside move on Green flushes Tracy Ham out of the pocket. Angelo Snipes on a spy technique came up late, was not able to keep Tracy in, and he was knocked off his feet by Warren Hudson. You got to keep your eyes on Warren because he'll put you on the ground every time.
Pulisic is punting to Stanley and Drawhorn. Drawhorn is going to field it at the 20. He waited for some blocking to form, but couldn't wait long enough, and the Argos are there to bring him down. Keith Bull makes the tackle. 13-12 remaining in the half.
When you buy an Egg McMuffin sandwich at the regular price, get a second one for just 69 cents. But only at McDonald's, and only till October 7th. After that, this deal's gone. Buy one delicious Big Mac at the regular price. Get a second one for just 69 cents. But only at McDonald's, and only after 4 p.m. Better hurry. After October 7th, this deal's gone.
Over 250,000 Canadians have already called us to find out how to save. The company they're calling is Unitel, and the savings just got better. Now you can save up to 45% with our Close Connections calling plan. Plus, call now and find out how you can earn 1 month of free long-distance calls. So get to a phone, any phone, and call for all the details. With numbers like 45% and 1 month free, can you afford not to call this one?
Sunday Report is a very nice synopsis of what is going on in Canada and around the world. I think Wendy Mesley does a very good job. She makes sure that the panel is balanced between opposing points of view. You see the dialogue go back and forth.
What's the objection, Rex? Well, the objection is that the problems are there from unemployment to job.
One of the greatest advantages of CBC is that it's not fettered to a private concern. So it can put the public interest at heart because it is public broadcasting.
Welcome back to Frank Blair Stadium, and there's a familiar face, George Brancato, back on the sidelines after almost a decade away from Ottawa. He spent 11 years as a head coach, second only to Frank Blair when it comes to success. At Live at the Half, we'll visit with George Brancato, and we'll also hear from Mike Pinball Clemens. He'll join us to talk about putting the bounce back into the Argo offense. That's all on Live at the Half, Don.
And Mike Clemens was smiling a lot more yesterday than he has throughout most of this season. He's always had a smile on his face, but I think it was a little more sincere yesterday.
Well, he was very pleased to be put back in the lineup and be an integral part of this Argo offense. He had the big touchdown last week against the Bombers to help him to that victory.
Burgess on first down, throws to the sidelines, and he's incorporating Sean Daniels in his passing attack in a big way in the early stages of the football game. You see on his left wrist, he has plays on tape to his wrist, a sequence of numbers, and they simply signal from the bench to Burgess a number, and that's the play they want called, and it corresponds with what he has on his wrist.
And they've been working the shuttle system also tonight because at times they were on different pages with that numbering system. This way they get it all worked out.
2nd and 5. Stephan Jones is unable to hang on.
Tommy Burgess putting a lot of heat on that ball tonight. Stephon Jones working out in the deep slant route, coming inside untouched. Tommy Burgess gets the ball to where it has to be. Jones just short arms it, and the ball falls freely to the turf.
You don't see Stephon Jones drop those too often.
He is noted as a very tough receiver, but on that play, he just lack of concentration, and it cost him a first down.
Gordon and Clemens are back for the Ray McAreedy punt. He gets away a beauty. For a guy who hasn't been punting, he is certainly hitting the ball well. Penalty flag in the play as Gordon runs the ball back to the 38-yard line.
Ray McAreedy with an excellent punt, excellent spiral hang time, 46 yards on the punt with only an 8-yard return. You like that when you can net 38 yards out of a punt.
Yeah, that's the big thing, the net on a punt, not necessarily the distance the ball travels.
It's always misleading when you look at Louis Passagley out in BC. He leads the league in nets. A lot of that comes from his savvy as being the veteran that he is, and he does what Coach Ritchie asked him to do in his specialty teams out there.
Illegal block on the receiving team number 5. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Kevin Smelly.
Andrew Thomas, guilty of the illegal block. You're going back to your playing days with Kevin Smelly.
Oh, must have had a mental lapse on something. A reserve defensive back.
On the Argonauts 20, Manolo Day.
11:44 remaining in the half. Clark comes wide right. Masadi lines up to the left. Handoff to the pinball. The pinball cuts back inside, bounces off a couple of tackles, and he lost the football, got it back, and had his feet taken out from under him by Remy Trudel. That's amazing when you think that he went a stretch of 40 games without scoring a rushing touchdown.
Well, you think about the greatness of a pinball Clemens, and you see him on this running play here. You just don't get clean shots on the pinball. He's so elusive. His center of gravity is so low to the ground. You just got to get down there, and he makes people miss. That time, 4 different riders hit him before he hit the ground.
2nd and 2. Handoff inside to Warren Hudson, and Hudson is a tough man to bring down, but not because he's such an elusive runner. It's that he's so strong and he runs over people.
The essence of power is Warren Hudson's game. That time coming with an inside counter play. Tracy Ham mixing it up, giving the Warren Hudson coming off the wing with an inside trap. Chris Green, the big offensive guard, was standing in Warren's way, and Warren just flattened him on that play. He's going to have to go back to the huddle and talk to him and tell him we're on the same team now.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. 3 receivers right. Pass is complete, and this is Masadi's first catch since returning to the Argo lineup after the injury on August the 5th against Sacramento. And Tracy Ham gets up very slowly, taking a hit just as he released the football.
Tremendous pressure up front. You see Snipes on the blitz, but watch Dexter Manley coming from up top. They both get there about the same time and falls over Tracy's legs as he wraps him up, but Tracy's going to stay in the game. He's one tough hombre.
1st and 10, Toronto. The ball is at the 53 with 9:42 remaining in the first half. 7-0 Ottawa leads.
And Tracy had a very pronounced limp coming to the line of scrimmage.
He gives the ball to Hudson, who finds a big hole. All the way to the 29. You know, basically, in the run and shoot in the past, he was used only as a blocker. He's getting an opportunity under Bob Obilovich to run the football. That time, he took off for 28 yards.
Well, you get Warren Hudson sitting right here, and you're going to get Tracy coming around. He's going to come through there. Big gaping hole as Bonner blitzed, and Kropke came inside. Warren Hudson with a big field of daylight in front of him, just galloping down the field before being brought down from behind by Getz.
Back to the live action. This time, Ham is operating from the shotgun. Ham is going to throw into the end zone intended for Clark. He was battling down the sidelines with Joe Merrill.
Tracy Ham trying to go for it all on 1st down. You can see Tracy, he's still limping around. He's not getting all the push on that leg that he wants to get, and he overthrew his receivers on that play. But this is an excellent drive with Warren Hudson doing the bulk of the work getting it downfield.
Reggie Slack has begun to throw over at the Argo bench in the event that this problem Ham has gets any worse.
I don't know if his knee is any better, though.
Ham throws for Zatilny. Wide open touchdown. Zatilny. Wally Zatilny got in behind Brett Young, and Tracy Ham laid it in perfectly, and now Zatilny is hurt.
Wally Zatilny's first touchdown of the season, and it's going to cost the Argos dearly because he's down after that reception of the end zone. Tracy dropping back in the pocket. Excellent blocking. Zatilny running a straight post route down the middle of the field, getting open. Excellent job. Twisting his right knee just as he went to the turf. You see the line blocking in front, giving Tracy the time that he needs, and that's something they hadn't had early in the year. They came into this game, they had given up 63 sacks, this Argo offensive front, and they played a numerous amount of personnel up front. They just haven't had any continuity.
His first touchdown as an Argo after spending most of his career with the Hamilton Ticats. And they are examining the right knee of Wally Zatilny, a popular individual wherever he has played with his teammates.
Well, Wally, you know, we were talking to him prior to the game yesterday, and, you know, one of the things that he had to do with this team was bring in sandwiches from his deli down in Hamilton. And you see right there that right knee and ankle being twisted as the defensive back fell across his leg as they went into the end zone. Just one of those things where you get something caught in the wrong place, and Wally seems to be in some anguish down there, but hopefully he can get off the field under his own power.
Wally said the players want him to bring those sandwiches from his deli to practice every day. He said he doesn't mind bringing them, but he needs somebody like you, James, along with him to help collect the money.
He was having a problem. Guys, I owe you. It's good to see Wally able to get up and get off under his own power, and, you know, hopefully he'll be back in the game later on, because he's one tough, small receiver out there, and he's one of those guys that this game really means a lot to him when he's out there, and he's having a lot of fun this season.
A product of Bishops, Wally Zatilny scoring a touchdown for the Argos, and if Lance Chomick adds the extra point, we've got a tie game with 8:26 remaining here at Frank Clair Stadium. And that's the situation, and we'll return with the Argo kickoff after this.
It has a responsive dual overhead cam engine, but it's not a Mercedes. It has a highly advanced multiple link suspension system, but it's not a BMW. It has dual airbags and 24-hour roadside assistance, but it's not a Lexus. It's an entirely different kind of luxury sedan. It's an affordable one. The new 1994 Nissan Altima, built for the human race.
Pine-Sol power!
The cleaning power of Pine-Sol cuts through the toughest grime with active ingredients not found in the leading cleaner.
Pine-Sol power!
The cleaning and disinfecting power of Pine-Sol to kill germs the leading cleaner can't.
Pine-Sol power!
More cleaning power with active ingredients not found in the leading cleaner.
Pine-Sol power!
You've got the power.
Pine-Sol power!
To get it Pine-Sol.
Every month, we speak to over 35,000 children across Canada. Lonely kids who need someone to talk to, but feel there's nowhere to turn. No one who'll really take the time to listen. Invest the time. Talk to your children. But even more important, let them know you're listening, that you respect what they have to say. Communicating is one of the most important things that we as parents can do for our children, and it can make an enormous difference in their lives.
8:18 remaining in the first half. Lance Chomick adds his 1,441st point, and our cameraman in the end zone winds up with the football. Nice catch.
Excellent concentration, not only to bring that into the lens, but bring that ball into his hands.
Patrick Burke handles the kickoff return. Penalty flag in the play. And a think this will be an illegal block charged against the Ottawa Rough Riders after the 50-yard kickoff.
We're going to get a little push in the back. Wetmore was coming down and got his hands in one of the Argos' backs, and it's going to cost his team.
I think it was Wetmore on Hughes.
Illegal block on the return team, number 30, first down.
So that takes the ball back to the 20-yard line. Wally Zatilny's best game of the year was in the second game on July 14th against BC when he caught 5 passes for 103 yards. He was injured the last time Ottawa played Toronto. First and 10 now from the 20-yard line. Burgess had to throw it away. It's incomplete. He was being pressured by Rodney Harding, who came free up the middle.
Well, Don Pierre Vercheval is on the sidelines here with his right knee wrapped in ice. He says he injured it on the very first series of this game when someone fell on him sideways. They'll assess it at halftime, but suffice to say he is out of this game. Down the bench a little further, Wally Zatilny also icing his knee after falling on the heavily painted Ottawa end zone with that touchdown cast, but he'll be back in this one.
Well, Vercheval just recently joined the Argos from the Detroit Lions. Tom Burgess will try and run for a first down. Reggie Pleasant comes up to make sure he doesn't get there.
Saved out at the 22.
Tommy Burgess not noted for being that fleet of foot, trying to get outside. He made a cardinal sin. He pulled up, let the rush catch up with him. Keith Poe working on Graybill right here. Graybill with an excellent job. They're left off of the tackle, driving Poe into the turf. But Burgess has to make the decision. If he's going to go for the first down, he has to continue straight upfield and not head to the sideline. Pleasant had no problem bringing him down on the play.
McAreedy has punted 3 times in his return to the CFL. On his very first kick, the Argos went after him. This time, a similar formation. They have just Mike Clemens back. 11 players at the line of scrimmage. Here comes pressure up the middle, but McAreedy gets away another pretty good kick. Handled by the pinball at the midfield stripe, and he has nowhere to go but out of bounds. And that's where Toronto will scrimmage first and 10 following that 35-yard punt.
With all the construction going on in Leamington, it's tougher than usual getting to Marathon Ford. Plus, it's hard keeping the dust and dirt off the car. So if you make the trip, Marathon Ford will make it worth your while during Marathon Ford's construction sale. We've got hot deals on this beautiful 93 Mustang convertible or this Taurus SHO. Your choice, only $4.95 a month. Drive home a hot deal today at Marathon Ford in Leamington. Right, Ma?
Oh, I'm sorry, son.
Excuse me.
Us?
Yes, why Cashway?
Well, selection, quality.
A huge lumberyard.
It's where the contractors go.
Our satisfaction's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the Cashway commitment.
The anniversary sale.
Great prices.
Save on a Makita combo kit, a 3/8-inch variable speed drill with Makita's keyless chuck lock system, plus a dustless palm sander. Only at Cashway, just $139.99.
It's a do-it-yourself paradise.
My dad shops at Cashway.
Mine too.
Cashway's anniversary sale. Buy with confidence.
Hi, Pete here for Sunseal. Remember us? We do quality windows. And right now, they're 40% off. Now that's a really hot summer deal. Not just because we're good guys, but hey, it's summer, and you're not thinking windows. So if you need windows, think 40% off. Think Sunseal. The latest technology and friendly customer service. Stop by our showroom and we'll show you around. Let you be the judge. Just remember, Sunseal. We do windows.
Bob Obilovich in his second game since returning to the Toronto Argonauts as head coach. Ron Smeltzer took over as coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders in February 1991. Both coaches looking at 2-9 records. Ron Smeltzer was very candid yesterday when he said, had we started 9-2 rather than 2-9, we might not be in this situation with the owners of the football team.
Wouldn't have so many knowledgeable people running around here these days.
Handoff inside to Warren Hudson, and he picks up about 5.
when you look at that situation, like Smeltzer said, you know, the team lost 5 games by a total of 10 points. If that had been inverted and they'd have won those 5 games, it'd be a lot different story. You see Angelo Snipes here working at the rush against Mike Clemens. Mike's got his hands full there. Got run over. I guess he looked like a bowling ball instead of a pinball.
Intended for Robert Clark, Joe Merrow is doing a pretty good job defending against him. This is Merrow's first game, and Dexter Manley is down and very slow in getting up.
Dexter Manley feeling the wrath of the CFL, that time walking off holding his left elbow. It seems like he might have got it up under someone's chin into a face mask. A lineman had been noted to do to come up with that rip, and he seems to be in quite a bit of pain now.
Kalisic goes back to the 45-yard line. Joe Sardo a little late in getting on the field. Good kick by Kalisic. Stanley goes back to the 1-yard line. Oh, big hit on Benson as Benson was coming over to try and make the tackle. Joe Fuller flopped Ken Benson. And then Stanley was forced out of bounds, a 49-yard return, or a 49-yard kick, a 4-yard return.
Excellent hustle by the Argos cover team, and also a tremendous block by Joe Fuller on that play, a reserve defensive back. You see him coming from the left of your screen. Benson has got a bead on Stanley, and Joe Fuller beat him right into the turf on that play. But excellent hustle all the way around by both teams on that play. You live for shots like that when you're a defensive player, and a defensive back to be able to get that on a big linebacker of that nature. You know, Joe Fuller's back at the sideline. He's bragging to everybody about, look out, I'm coming.
Yeah, Fuller's eyes probably lit up when he thought he had Stanley in his sights, and all of a sudden the lights went out. Penalty flag as Joseph breaks to the outside and gets a first down. Ottawa. But will this one be coming back?
We're going to get an offsides against Milburn. The rush in. OB has converted Milburn to the rush in. When he came in, he had been a down lineman.
Offside, and the defense number 78. Penalty is declined. First down.
And it's a new position for him. He's used to being down in a 3-point stance all the time. He's not accustomed to having those running backs coming up to the line of scrimmage, jumping at him. That time on the jump, he moved, got in the neutral zone, but the penalty didn't cost the team. They picked up the running first down anyway.
5:35 with the clock running, the time remaining in the first half. The game tied at 7. Hand off to Joseph again. This time he tried to cut back inside, and Rodney Harding was there to catch a piece of him.
Good job of pursuit by the Argos defensive front, sliding right down the line of scrimmage, keeping contact with the offensive lineman, not letting them get that separation. But Joseph has to learn to trust his blockers on the other hand. He has to let them block and take the hole that's there, not try to cut back and create something different.
2nd and 8, Ottawa. Burgess throws to the sidelines, and Stephan Jones has an Ottawa first down. Burgess had to throw that quickly as Milburn was in his face.
Well, Milburn took that inside release on the play, and that allowed Burgess to get outside to find Stephan, running a streak on Lewis and then making the deep cut on the out. Lewis got turned around on the play. Jones had the great cushion, bringing that one in before stepping out of bounds.
4:47 remaining in the first half. 1st and 10. Ottawa, the Riders at their own 42-yard line. Fine catch by Joseph, and he will be caught by Van Bellingham. Over the shoulder, Joseph hauled that in, and only Dave Van Bellingham prevented him from getting to the end zone. A 54-yard pickup for Darren Joseph on the throw from Tom Burgess.
Well, those are the plays that the Riders need. You got Joseph circling out of the backfield into the flat, locked up on the linebacker, one-on-one, able to turn it upfield, and there was no match for Wayne. Wayne could not run with him, and he gets down inside to the 15 before Van Bellingham brings him down. The big play for the Riders. Burgess didn't go for it all. He let the back pick it up with his legs.
Remember, this started at the Ottawa 4-yard line. 4:05 remaining in the half. 1st and 10. Burgess Burgess into the end zone, overthrows Jock Climie. It was Burgess to Climie, the combination that produced the first Ottawa touchdown. Almost a similar play.
Well, Tommy Burgess saw how wide open Jock Climie was on the play and just put too much on it. All he had to do was just flutter that one out there because Climie had got behind the coverage. Tommy Burgess, as we spoke about, gets a little impatient. An example of it on that play, his team could have had their second touchdown of the evening.
In the past, Burgess has had a tendency in the score zone to try and get it all in one play. And that was a concern of Ron Smeltzer, that Burgess be content in picking up a first down. Intended for Climie, incomplete. Covered by Dave Van Bellingham. The fans and some of the Ottawa players, including Jock Climie and Tom Burgess, felt there should have been an interference call.
Well, that happened right in front of the field judge on that play where Climie was coming across on a slant route. You'll see Climie lining up in the left slot, coming across the middle. Van Bellingham getting there about 2 strides before the football. The official has to make that call. He has an unobstructed view. Cost the Riders on that play.
Ray McAreedy will attempt his first field goal from 21 yards out. In warm-up, he was hitting them from 50 yards out. And he puts this one through. So with 3:15 remaining in the first half, Ottawa has a 3-point lead. And the Toronto Argonauts are going to ask Ottawa to kick off following the Ray McAreedy field goal. McAreedy last year was in Ottawa's camp briefly. He worked out with the team. And Ron Smeltzer is familiar with McAreedy. Smeltzer was an assistant coach in Edmonton when McAreedy was there.
Well, what they feel by having the Riders kick off in this situation, this is one of the bigger plays of their offense, their specialty teams. You get Jackson, you get Clemens, you got Zatilny, who is back in the game, which is good to see back deep in this situation. They can get a big play out of this.
Zatilny is going to let the ball bounce. Will it go out of bounds? Yes, it does. It comes back into the field of play, but it rolled out at the 10-yard line.
Very close situation there. Zatilny took a chance hoping that would go out. Just fortunately enough, the official right on top of that saw it.
Well, he should have done like some baseball players do, get down on the ground and blow the football, try to blow it up.
Right there on that play where we saw prior to that where it cost the Riders a touchdown, if you'll look back, you saw the field judge standing right there, had a clear view of Climie coming over the middle with Van Bellingham making the contact. In a situation, it's fine for the officials to get involved in football games at times, but in critical situations, you have to make that call, and that was a critical one.
But so many times on bunts, you see guys, a first baseman or a third baseman, down watching the ball, blowing on it.
Getting there, and that's what Zatilny was hoping. And that football takes such weird hops on the AstroTurf.
Pat Jackson takes the ball at the 26. Jackson follows Keith Pogue, but he can't get beyond the 48, stopped there by Joe Merrill. A 54-yard kickoff and a 22-yard return.
Well, Don, you can see that Dexter Manley is in a great deal of pain here on the Rough Rider bench. He took a helmet to his left elbow, and each time the doctors try to touch the elbow, he cries out in pain. They put ice on the elbow right now. We'll take him to the locker room at the half and determine whether or not they need to do an x-ray.
Mark Aubrey, the Ottawa team doctor, talking to Dexter Manley at the bench. Tracy Ham, 1st and 10. He's going to throw deep for Zatilny, and Zatilny was bumped as he was trying to get into his batter by Brett Young. He protests mildly to the official. 2:48 is the time remaining in the half.
Last year, there were nearly 40 million oil changes in Canada. Unfortunately, not one line of oils could provide the ultimate defense against viscosity breakdown. But now there's Castrol GTX, the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. So once again, it's time to change your oil. New Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines. Castrol GTX, now available at these and other leading retail outlets.
You think you're hot stuff when it comes to baseball, eh? Play Proline. Pick the right teams and you win cash. Want to get in the game? Play to win with Proline from Sports Select. They ought to play this game on ice.
Part 7, Basic Dining Etiquette.
KFC introduces the Big Crunch.
Being delicate and refined is most important.
We took a tender marinated breast fillet and put the whole thing in a sandwich.
Takes more bites.
That's so big, there's just one way to eat it.
Bubble. Be ladylike. Be ladylike. Be ladylike. Be ladylike.
There's no bigger, better tasting sandwich. While they last, the KFC Big Crunch.
Nobody can touch you when it comes to knowing football, eh? Get your hands on Proline. Pick the right teams, you win cash. Want to get in the game? Play to win with Proline from Sports Select. Hey, buddy, you looking for this?
The Rough Riders leading by 3 points with 2:48 remaining in the first half at Frank Blair Stadium. These teams in a home-and-home series tonight at Frank Blair Stadium, next Sunday at the Sky Dome in Toronto, the third and final meeting of the year between the two teams. Ottawa won the first 26-25 on August the 26th. The first time tonight that Tracy Ham has run with the football, and he scampers up to the 53-yard line. And, of course, this is what Tracy Ham does so well.
It's what he brings to this offense, and this is the threat that he has brought to the CFL for many years of past that he's been playing in Edmonton prior to coming to Toronto this year. When he cannot find a receiver, you cannot leave that seam. You have to keep a spy person in, a linebacker to survey the line of scrimmage. So when Tracy pulls it down, you have someone there in his face. The Riders didn't do it. He picked up a first down.
In 1990, he ran for 1,096 yards, a record for quarterbacks. The ball comes loose as he tries to throw. It winds up in the arms of Angelo Snipes. He was hit by Glenn Kalka, but it's ruled an incomplete pass.
Excellent pressure up front by the Riders' defensive line. Glenn Kalka was the man in Tracy Ham's face on that play. They've been rotating the defensive line. You got Kalka sitting here. You'll see him there, and he'll come straight up the middle with a good move on the center. He slips the cut block, gets up in Ham's face, hits him just under the arm as Ham is following through with the football, and he drives it down into the turf. Excellent pressure by the Riders' defensive front.
Good kick by Olisic. Stanley waits for it at the 15. Can't get away from Hughes. And Hughes drops him at the 20 with 2:15 remaining in the first half. A 41-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
Well, that's what the Riders needed. They were able to keep the Argos from driving downfield, eating up the time on the clock, also getting in scoring range. They have the lead 10-7 at this moment. Tommy Burgess coming back on the field. Must be a little patient right here. Not take any chances to hurt his ball club and not turn the ball back over to the Argos.
However, Tom had better not take too much time in getting this play underway. The 20-second clock was running before he got out onto the field. He got it away just in time. 2 seconds remaining on the 20-second clock. Darren Joseph is dropped by Ken Benson right at the line of scrimmage. 2:11 remaining in the half.
Well, Benson came into this game as the Argos' leading tackler, and that's one of the reasons why he's able to stay at home, read the play as it's developing in front of him, and make the stop on Joseph for a loss of 1 on the play.
Second and 11, Ottawa. We're into the final 2 minutes of the first half. The Riders have been good on 50% of their second down conversion attempts. This for Jock Climby. Fine catch at the midfield stripe. Nobody touched him. He's going to go all the way. An 89-yard touchdown reception for Jock Climby, his second of the game.
Coming into the game, the Riders felt that their inside slot receiver receivers were going to have a big night. They've talked about Grifo being added to the lineup, but they hastened to mix Jock Climbing. Jock Climbing working one-on-one against Hughes, getting that inside position, got Hughes turned around, made the reception. They both went to the turf. Hughes was not able to get a hand on him when he was down. Climbing was able to get back to his feet, outrun the rest of the Argo defenders into the end zone for the touchdown.
Jock Climbing, 3 catches for 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. The exchange from center is mishandled by Jones, and McAreedy will not get an opportunity to try and add the extra point.
The second bad snap we've seen tonight on an extra point field goal attempt. Earlier, the Argos, this time Jones was not able to catch the ball cleanly and get it down.
16, Verano 7.
And Jock Climbing has now equaled his career best season of last year when he had 901 yards. That's the exact total he has right now.
Well, the big play for the Riders offense, their second touchdown of the night, Don. They only scored 1 touchdown the last time these teams met at Skydome, and that came with 10 seconds to go on that play that they scored to win the game.
A former Queen star, Jock Climbing, in a starring role tonight for the Ottawa Rough Riders with 2 touchdowns.
Well, has these fans here at Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa very pleased with the first half outburst of the Rough Riders offense.
Wally Zatilny on the kickoff return is tripped up as he got to the 40-yard line by Remy Trudell. Had Trudell not been able to get a piece of Zatilny, he might have gone a long way.
He had a seam on that wall right return. The Argos had the blocking for him. Trudell wanted an outside containment on the kickoff team, able to reach in, get an arm on Zatilny's leg, and knock him off stride, saving a big gain on that play down.
You know, the Argos have been notoriously slow starters all year. In the first quarter, coming into this football game tonight, they had only scored 23 points this season. Angelo Snipes is cut down as he went after Ham. Ham gets to the outside and runs it out of bounds with a gain of about 4 yards.
Well, Tracy Ham could not find an open receiver. Excellent man coverage down the field by the Riders defensive secondary. Normally you'll get a team that backs off, but Tracy trying to get outside. Warren Hudson peeling back on Snipes. Tracy all the way out trying to find a receiver, and that's what you have to do. Keep looking. He just couldn't find anyone. Excellent defense by the Riders. Elated cheerleaders enjoying tonight's contest.
Michelle Raby into the ball game, replacing the injured Dexter Manley. 2nd and 6. Ham will run again. He'll get the first down this time to the 47-yard line with 1:22 remaining. Stuman and Bonner made the tackle.
What you have to do if you're the Riders right here defensively, you have to keep one of those inside linebackers in a spy mode. You set him inside either Bonner or Getz. Let him watch Tracy Ham. He eyeballs Tracy where he's going, so if he decides to run, you have someone in his face.
The Argos attempting to end a string of 14 consecutive road losses. Pass complete to Bobby Gordon at the 35-yard line, tackled by Patrick Burke.
Gordon had 2 receptions last week after being inserted into the lineup. Bobo Vilovich is very high on him. That's his first reception of the night. Came back, lost the first down on the play. It's going to be 2nd and short.
And the Argos are taking a lot of time in getting this play underway as the clock continues to run. Ham throws to the sideline. Gordon makes the catch, and he stayed inbounds, or at least came down with a foot inbounds.
Great reception on this play. Gordon goes high up into the air. Official right on the spot, gets that 1 foot, gets both feet inbounds, as you're only required 1 in the CFL, but great concentration and acrobatic move there by Gordon on that play.
36 seconds remaining in the first half. The Argos threatening to cut into the 16-7 Ottawa lead.
Very important right here for the Riders not to allow the Argos to get a major. They've worked very hard here in the first half to establish this 9-point lead. Getting away with a field goal would be somewhat of a moral victory for them here. To keep them out, to allow them a major could be somewhat of a deflator going into the locker room.
Well, the Argos at one time totally dominated the Ottawa Rough Riders. They had a 16-game win streak against Ottawa, come to an end in the season opener a year ago when they lost in overtime in a wild scoring affair, 53-42. This year in the first meeting of the season, a late touchdown in the final seconds gave Ottawa a 26-25 win, and Ottawa now leads Toronto 16-7 with 36 seconds remaining in the half. Ham fumbles the exchange on the shotgun formation. He was fortunate to get it back. He will lose about 3 yards. Brian Bonner came in to pin him.
And that time they played with the spy. They kept Bonner in as a spy. When he saw the mishandling of the snap here coming low to Tracy Ham, Bonner was right there because he had stayed in. He didn't drop into the pass coverage and was able to stop Ham before he could get to the line of scrimmage.
Ham dumps it off to Warren Hudson. Hudson will try and get to the end zone or at least get a first down. And he takes it out of bounds. Forced out by Patrick Burke.
Great play by Tracy Ham. He dropped back in the pocket, couldn't find an open receiver. As he tried to run on the play, as he got towards the line of scrimmage, the Riders once again were in that spy mode. Bonner came up, but he found Warren Hudson, his blocking fullback, and therefore another reception getting inside the 10.
Hudson was called upon frequently last week against Winnipeg. 5 passes for 69 yards. This one to Manny Hazard, and Hazard is stopped about 3 yards short of the end zone by Brett Young with 12 seconds remaining, and the Argos requesting a timeout.
Big play decision time right here. The Argos have to come up with something with only 12 seconds to go. Will they run the ball? Will they try to get Tracy out of the pocket, or just drop him straight back in the shotgun?
2nd and goal now from the 3-yard line. While we have an opportunity, they have a lot of consultants over at the Ottawa bench and within the organization. I understand last night and this morning they added a new one.
Yeah, I received a few phone calls from Lonnie Gleiberman, Dexter Manley. I mean, next I guess I'll be waiting on that consultancy check to come in. But, you know, I was called by both of those individuals asking if I could lend some assistance to Dexter as far as what it takes to play here in the CFL. And maybe it fell on deaf ears because he's out of the game right now. A little toughness is involved in that for one thing.
2nd and goal from the 3. Ham throws to the end zone. Hazard lost his helmet, but he gets in. He let Anthony Drawhorn take his helmet, but he managed to get into the end zone. It almost looked as though he was in the end zone initially when he made the catch.
He was in there twice. He actually should get 2 touchdowns on that play. But just great effort by Manny Hazard, the inside left slot receiver for the Argos. Tracy Ham dropping back with the quick hitch to Hazard, 4-step drop, firing out in the flat. He's in the end zone actually when he makes that initial reception. Drawhorn is dragging on him, gets the helmet off of him. Hazard dives back in for the touchdown without a helmet. Great drive by the Argos to get back on the scoring once again before the half.
And Lance Shamik adds the point after with 5 seconds remaining in the half, and it's a 2-point football game. The last time Ottawa played Toronto, Hazard had a great outing. 10 catches for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. And as you said, maybe they should give him 2 in this one because he was in the end zone twice.
Well, the official was running right down the line on that play, and he caught the ball in the boundaries of the end zone. All that's required, you have to cross the plane. Tracy Ham following the flight of that ball. He says touchdown on the first one. He has to do it a second time when Hazard goes back in the end zone. So yeah, they'll be talking about maybe we should get 2 on this. He maybe has some bonus clause in his contract for that. Tracy Ham, that's good to see once again. For some point there during the middle of the season, you saw a very dejected Tracy Ham, one of the highest paid, probably the highest paid assistant coach in the CFL for many games, patrolling the sideline with a clipboard. Now he's patrolling the field with a football in his hand, such as he should be doing.
Are you kidding me? Probably the highest paid assistant coach? Is there any doubt? But he's a lot happier operating under the Blagojevic offense than he was in the run-and-shoot scheme of Mouse Davis, who is no longer with the Argos. Burke handles the kickoff. Still struggling, and the Argos are desperately trying to take the ball away from them. But they failed to do that, and that brings to an end the first half here at Frank Blair Stadium. Ottawa 16, Toronto 14. Mark?
Well, Don, the Ottawa fans are loud and clear as their football team puts the circus aside for the moment anyway. They lead by 2 as we get set for Live at the Half.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only delicious, it's easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast, but you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree. Subway makes steak.
Steak lovers, put down your knife and fork and pick up the steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
This Nike commercial is boring.
It's just Bo in a gym.
I can do that.
Where are the dancing girls?
Where's the singing? I miss the montage style of editing.
It's just Bo in a gym.
Only a Nike commercial in a barbershop would be more boring.
Even Nike's not that dumb.
From the unforgettable Emily comes the epic story of her daughter, Blanche. A beautiful and ambitious woman, Blanche faces a heartbreaking choice. The man she loves or a future she knows holds more than marriage alone. Independence and determination lead her to a life more passionate than she ever dreamt possible. The sweeping saga of Blanche premieres October 6th.
Fitting regular maintenance into my day is tough. So I go to where it'll be done right at the right price. I go to my GM dealer.
Announcing the GM Goodwrench Surface Plus Lube Oil and Filter offer. Done in 29 minutes or the next one's free. With the work done by GM trained technicians who use quality GM parts.
I trust my GM dealer to give me the finest quality work at a very competitive price.
There you are, Miss RJ.
Thanks, that was fast.
GM Goodwrench Service Plus means auto service with a plus.
Welcome back to Ottawa. Well, he's second only to Frank Blair when it comes to the most successful football coach in Ottawa history. In 11 seasons here in Ottawa, George Brancato finished first or second 8 times. In 1984, though, he was last and he was fired. He's back after a decade absence, begging the question, whatever happened to George Brancato? It was George Brancato's finest hour as a head coach.
Gabriel is open in the end zone.
Tony Gabriel's last-second touchdown catch gave the Rough Riders a thrilling 23-20 come-from-behind win over the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. In 1981, Brancato took a 5-11 team to the Grey Cup and nearly pulled off a huge upset. The Eskimos needed a last-second Dave Cutler field goal to win after trailing 20-1 at the half. But a last-place finish in 1984 signaled the end to an 11-year term as Rough Rider head coach.
The Ottawa Rough Riders.
Today, he's back as an assistant after a decade of working everywhere from arena football to University College of Cape Breton.
George, your greatest moments as a head coach came in this city with the Rough Riders in the 80s and 70s. I'm wondering what's going through your mind now that you're back again midway through this season as an assistant.
Well, you know, getting back and, you know, just looking at the new locker room setups, and we used to be under the old stands there, and the changes that have taken place at Lansdowne Park and with the Canadian Football League, the type of play, what comes back to mind to me mostly is starting out in 70 with Jack Goda and taking a last place team, which was Ottawa's greatest team in 69, and last place in 70 to a Grey Cup in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. You know, you had security, if there's such a thing in your business, from 1970 to 85 coaching here in Ottawa, and then after that, I think you haven't spent more than 1 year in the same city. It really speaks to the insecurities of your business, and I'm wondering how you've coped with that.
Well, you know, like I was here coaching from 70 to 85, like you say, and it was secure, and teams didn't seem to change as much as they do now. And I've moved around a lot, and I think I moved because of the characteristics of that league I was in. The teams would change cities, franchises would fold, new ones would open, and I moved to many cities.
You coached a lot of arena football teams, even a one-year college team in Cape Breton. Tell me about that.
Well, that was fun. J.I., of course, was the athletic director and asked me to come out and coach his football team, and we had a bunch of kids that never played football, and I think we played 17 players per game. That's the only ones that knew how to play, and we had fun, and the kids at the school liked it, but for some reason, the board of directors said it's going to be too expensive, and they're going to drop it after a one-year stint.
So here we are back in the CFL, and the opportunity may present itself that you might be offered the head coaching job on this team if, in fact, this team continues to lose and Ron Smeltzer is fired. Would you take it?
Well, yeah, I think any coach would take a head coaching job if it was offered to him, but, you know, I don't foresee Ron Smeltzer getting fired, and I think the only people that really build that up are the press people, because my name being involved as head coach in Ottawa for so long, and I right now, I don't think there's any, you know, credence to the story that they're going to fire Ron Smeltzer because he'll lose a football game.
You never know. It's good to see you back in Ottawa. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, George Brancato is back home here in Ottawa. Mike Clements looks like he's back home in the Toronto offense. And Mike, there are a lot of experts wondering why it took Pavel Bilovich to get a CFL MVP back in the backfield.
I don't know, but I'm just glad to be back in the lineup. I think we were doing some different things when Mouse was in, and he wanted to do some different things, keep me fresher for returns, because the running back truly wasn't incorporating the offense that much. But it is great to get back in there.
After that big win over the East Division leaders, Winnipeg, last week, do you feel this is a brand new season?
Yes, we do. You know, for us, it's a 7-game season, and right now, this is our playoffs. These 2 weeks, 1.5 games here. The second half of this game and next week, really a playoff series for us, and that's how we're taking it.
Good luck in the second half, Mike.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Well, George Brancato took a 5-11 team to the Grey Cup in 1981, meaning anything can happen in this East Division. It's Ottawa by 2 at the half. We'll be back right after this.
Joshua Williams, baseball player, swimmer, and safety ambassador for the War Amps Champ program. Joshua knows what it means to play safe. During a boat ride, he got too close to the edge and fell overboard. The motor severed his leg. Now, he must wear an artificial one. Joshua has a warning for all children.
Don't let it happen to you. Play safe. Yes.
A message from the War Amps.
First, we invented the minivan. Then we raised the standard of the performance car. Next, we did the same for the sport utility and the family car, as well as the luxury car. And now, we're just getting warmed up.
They're going fast. BC savings bonds are on sale till October 5th only. Visit your financial institution or call 1-800-463-BOND.
I'm in Orchard Country to find out what people know about BC credit unions. Excuse me.
Pardon?
Hello. Did you know that 1 out of 4 homeowners in British Columbia got their mortgage at a BC credit union?
Yes.
And are you aware, you knew that?
My credit union helped me buy this place and also created a retirement plan, so I'll be able to retire early.
Boy, did I pick a good tree or what?
BC Credit Unions. British Columbians investing in one another.
They're going fast. BC savings bonds are on sale till October 5th only. Visit your financial institution or call 1-800-463-BOND before they run out.
Welcome back to Frank Clair Stadium on a mild autumn evening in the Ottawa Valley. The Rough Riders leading the Argonauts by a score of 16-14 at the half on the strength of 2 touchdowns by Jock Climby. Last night in the CFL, the Ticats and Stampeders playing an error-prone game in Calgary. Here's a touchdown by Andy McVeigh, plunging 2 yards, one of 2 Stampeder touchdowns of the night to make it 10-0 Calgary in the first half. They would win easily, 26-3 over the Ticats to improve their record atop the West Division to 12-1. Later tonight in Vancouver, a very important West Division matchup in Saskatchewan at BC. That one begins about a half hour from now. The Riders can move into a second-place tie with the Lions if they win. Tomorrow night, Edmonton continues its chase to second-place BC. They host the Blue Bombers, coming off last week's upset loss to Toronto. And Scotto, Chris Cuthbert, and Dan Kipley will be standing by to bring you that big game. Well, it's 16-14 Ottawa in a very close one. The battle of the basement, as they say in the East. For their first half assessment, let's go to the booth now to James and Don.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, indeed, the battle of the basement, but second place is not beyond the reach of either Ottawa or Toronto. Ottawa leading with Jock Climby providing 2 outstanding touchdowns for the Rough Riders, particularly his second, an 89-yarder.
Well, one of their best offensive outbursts of the season. Jock Climby working one-on-one, getting downfield, Burgess half roll, getting the time, firing it. Climby went to the ground, but he was not touched by an Argonaut defender, was able to have the presence to get up and run into the end zone. Seemed like the Riders might have had a comfortable lead at this point, Don. But to no avail, the Argos were able to get the ball back with less than 2 minutes to go, march down the field. Tracy Ham showing great command of his presence tonight on the field, finding Manny Hazard in the flat for the second touchdown for the Argos of the night. Hazard had to score twice on this play to get the points, but the Argos were able to close the gap back down to 2.
And that gives the Argos a big lift. And on the drive, 5 times they converted second down plays to keep it alive and put it in the end zone. What did you think of the play of Dexter Manley before he was hurt?
Well, Dexter came into the game with a lot of hype and everything. He really didn't do anything to aid or hurt himself. He's working at the line of scrimmage. Smith, the import defensive lineman that they brought in from Dallas, and they held him along with Burchville at the line of scrimmage. He didn't have much penetration as the game wore on, and he had to leave the game with an injury later on.
Well, Burchville went out of the game on the first play, and now Dexter Manley is out of the game, and it's unlikely that either will return for the second half. Mark?
Don, the chalk talks and halftime adjustments are complete. The teams are back on the field getting set for the second half. We'll check on Dexter Manley and have an update on his condition when we come back right after this.
It's Leon's amazing new Waive the Payments event. You can get all the quality home furnishings you need today from Leon's huge selection, and you don't have to pay till next May. Everything from wall units to lamps to sofas, and wave goodbye to all the payments. No down payment, no monthly payments, no interest till May. But you better hurry or you'll miss all the action.
Excuse me.
Us?
Yes, why Cashway?
Well, selection, quality.
A huge lumberyard.
It's where the contractors go.
Our satisfaction's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the Cashway commitment.
The anniversary sale.
Great prices.
Moldings make a difference. Save 25% on a wide assortment of beautiful Pendor finger joint pine moldings. It's easy to create a bold new look. All pieces ready to paint or stain.
It's a do-it-yourself paradise.
My dad shops at Cashway.
Mine too.
Cashway's anniversary sale. Buy with confidence.
Make an informed decision, a decision that affects Canada's future. Hi, I'm Paul Vasey. Before you mark your ballot in the coming federal election, join me on Morning Watch weekdays from 6 until 9. Federal leaders, the local candidates. Sort through the issues. Cut through the clutter. On Morning Watch, CBC Radio, 1550.
On the Road Again is really about ordinary people leading extraordinary lives. One of the nicest things about On the Road Again is that it brings other people's backyards, the rest of Canada, into my own living room.
Whoa, this is a wonderful instrument, Gerald.
I find the stories realistic and identifiable as something that I would want to be part of.
As you might might expect in a 2-point ball game, not much difference between the two sides statistically. The Riders have the edge in net yards, the Argos in time of possession. And it's 16-14 Ottawa as we prepare to start the second half. Ray McAreedy will kick off for the Ottawa Rough Riders. He was teaching grades 3 and 4 students in Etobicoke yesterday, hopped in a plane last night because of the injury to Terry Baker, and is in the lineup of the team for today's game. Bobby Gordon on the kickoff return, the former Ottawa Rough Rider, is surrounded by some of his ex-teammates, including Angelo Snipes, as he got back to the 30-yard line. A 54-yard kickoff, a 9-yard run back. Wally Zatilny was one of Tracy Ham's favorite receivers in the first half. He threw him a touchdown strike, and he also tossed a touchdown pass to Matty Hazard.
And that's vintage Tracy Ham when you look at that pass distribution. You cannot key on one single receiver. When you spread the wealth amongst the receivers, your offense can move up and down the field.
Ham operates from the shotgun. He's going to run. He throws the ball to the sidelines as Glenn Kalka had his arms wrapped around him. Very close to being a second intentional grounding call against Tracy Ham.
Well, Glenn was one of those players who came out very vocally in the paper this week, and he's working really hard pursuing Tracy Ham right here. A little extra force there getting him to the ground. Glenn's been noted for that. Very tough, hard-nosed player. Came in lighter this year, felt he would be quicker, and that time it seemed to aid him in getting to Tracy Ham.
It's like another guy I know who's not at all reluctant to speak his mind.
Who's that? Dan Kepler?
Second and 10. Intended for Hazard, incomplete. So it's 2 and out for the Toronto Argos on their first offensive series of the second half.
Well, Ham is what he likes to do, slide to the outside. You got Hazard and Clemens in the slot. Clemens come back as a blocker. Hazard sits down, does the Cardinal sin, takes the eyes off the football, trying to run prior to making the reception, drops the pass.
24,631 watching the action at Frank Clair Stadium.
Nice crowd tonight. Nice night for football in Ottawa.
Stanley takes the ball at the 39. Brian McCurdy was the first to make contact with him, and with help from Keith Costello, they drive Stanley back inside the 35-yard line, a loss of 3 after the 41-yard kick by Hank Alisic.
On a line drive kick like that, you got to return them. Stanley made a sin by not coming straight up the field on that.
Jock Climbing, obviously the favorite target of Tom Burgess. 3 catches for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That 89 touchdown, though, was the big play in all those receptions to put the Riders up in front of the Argos at that time by 9.
And, of course, Climbing, with the presence of mind, realizing he had not been touched when he went down after making the catch, getting up and running to the end zone. Burgess is forced to run, and Burgess is trimmed up by Milburn. It'll be a gain, though, of about 5 yards.
Milburn is not doing bad in that situation, playing outside as the rush in. He's a rather large rush in as far as CFL standards go, but that time he was able to keep that outside leverage, keep Burgess up inside, allowing his teammates to make the tackle.
A 5-receiver set now for Ottawa as Rob Crefo comes into the ball game and Sean Daniels goes out. Intended for Jock Kleine, and Reggie Pleasant read the play perfectly. Timed it to knock it away from the Riders' leading receiver in this football game.
The first time we've heard Pleasant's name all night, and this is the reason why teams don't pick on Reggie Pleasant. Great break on the ball, great concentration, getting that left hand inside of Jock Kleine. Kleine not coming back to the football, Pleasant knocking that away. Another step, he might have been able to pick that one off and take it back to 6.
Gordon and Clemens are back for Ray McAreedy's 3rd down punt. I think there are a lot of people who are probably quite surprised at how proficient McAreedy has been in punting the ball tonight, and Look at this man go. This is the pinball. Can McAreedy catch him? He at least forces him back into the field of play, and Greg Stuman brings him down. Big return by the pinball with 12:16 remaining in the third quarter.
Mono, mono, get the mono, mono, get the mono, mono. When the job to be done calls for #1, then you go and get the mono when you put it in the gun. Get the mono, mono, get the mono, mono, get the mono, mono.
For a job that lasts, more people prefer mono around windows and doors, inside and out. And mold and mildew resistant mono for tub and tile. Get the job done with #1.
Mono, mono, get the mono, mono, get the mono, mono, get the mono.
The world, once a vibrant place, in mankind's care has been allowed to slip into a vortex of mediocrity, wallow in the status quo, and spiral into that beige nether region known as the middle of the road. Time to undo the wrong we have done. Introducing the new Volkswagen Jetta. Definitely not middle of the road. So there.
Dear Gene, I'm Mike Moore, owner of Premier Envelope. Remember? You helped us set up our new 800 entry service. I'm just writing to tell you, our 800 entry service now accounts for 40% of our business. Our customers love it because they know it's toll-free.
Now, for just $8 a month plus usage, you can have Bell 800 entry service without a service charge.
2 million envelopes and I can't find a stamp.
Great situation and punt return by the Argonauts offense. Mike Clemens happy to be a part of the offense. You see him right here. He's going to get the ball. He's going to come up. He's going to cut back in the seam that his players make for him here. And he's off to the races. This is what Mike Clemens does so well. He's such a special aspect of this offense. You see him in the open field, and he is just one of the best and most exciting players in this entire league. And you see him being cut off by McAreedy, but Mike Clemens puts the Argos in excellent field position at the 29.
The 50-yard punt return. He had a 120-yard return against Winnipeg last week, called back by a penalty. 1st and 10 Toronto from the 30-yard line. Pat Jackson in there in place of Clemens, and Jackson is the ball carrier to the 26-yard line. After a 50-yard run, they decided to give the pinball a rest, and Jackson goes into the ball game, stopped by Angelo Snipes and Greg Stuman.
Pinball on the sideline taking a little breather. He seemed to be a little winded after that play, but he is excited to be a mainstay back in this Argo offense. And you see Obilovich congratulating him after that kick return. He brought the pinball into Toronto years ago, and he's back and he's rejuvenated him.
Intended for Hazard, incomplete. But the Argos have a chance to take the lead for the first time as Lance Chomick comes into the ball game.
Hazard working one-on-one against Drawhorn out in the flat. A lot of pressure, though, up front on Ham. Snipes and Stuman came on the blitz. Ham had to get rid of that pass a little sooner than what he would have liked to, and it caused him to overthrow it.
Chomick will attempt a 33-yard field goal. Murray had problems handling the exchange from center earlier when Chomick was lined up for a field goal attempt. This one is hooked wide, and it sails through the end zone. It's a single point, so the Ottawa Rough Riders hang on to the lead 16-15 with 10:59 remaining in the third quarter. On the previous field goal attempt, in which Chomick never even got a foot into the ball, Andrew Murray had to go up high for the snap from center, couldn't get it pinned properly. Chomick couldn't kick it. That time it appeared as though Murray again was having a little difficulty getting it pinned properly.
Well, Lance, they haven't had that many opportunities at field goals this year. Coming into this game, they only had 21 field goal attempts. You seem to have more than that offensively to get in a stride, as a kicker would like to have more opportunities to kick. He had only made 16 coming into this game. Now he's only 16 for 23.
Consider just 21 attempts for Chomick coming into the game. Dave Ridgway of Saskatchewan has kicked 28 in a row. Joseph is dropped for a loss by Rodney Harding.
Great Great penetration up front by the Argo defensive front. Rodney Harding working right here. Graybill misses him. The tackle, you have to get down. Graybill, the American offensive lineman, they felt they had to have in. He would be that dominant player on the front. That time he showed he has not given them what they expected.
Burgess this time will operate from the shotgun. 2nd and 16. Milburn is after Burgess. He dumps it off to Joseph, and Joseph is tripped up by Whitley, who came up from his halfback position.
Whitley with a great open field play that time on Joseph. Burgess got a lot of pressure from the Argos defensive front, but Whitley stayed at home with his halfback position, able to come up, challenge Joseph one-on-one, get an arm on his leg, and get him down on the ground at the 29.
9:58 remaining in the third quarter. In 1991 with Edmonton, McAreedy averaged 38.5 yards per punt. He was commuting that year from Ontario to Edmonton. He was attempting to get his teaching degree. He now has it, and he was called out of the classroom to join the Rough Riders in an emergency situation. Gordon on the return brings it back to the 53 of Ottawa. That's where Toronto will scrimmage, 1st and 10.
Welcome to Home Hardware's Paint Factory. On my right, your left, meet Dave. He's one of over 900 dealers. That's a lot of friendly advice. On my left, your right, meet Kathy. She makes over 10,000 gallons of paint a day. That's a lot of paint, which means you get a great price. Like this Beauty Tone Latex Interior-Exterior Primer for just $16.99. So, on my right, your left, friendly advice. On my left, your right, great price. So come on into Home Hardware before there's none left. Right?
Home Hardware, home of the handyman. We're jumping down, we're falling fast, we're falling.
Right now at Mazda, prices on the 93s are dropping fast with minimum discounts of $1,000 on 323, Protégé, the classic MX-6 Mystère, and Mazda trucks. A $2,000 minimum discount on 626 Kronos, as well as the family-sized MPV, and a $4,000 minimum discount on the luxurious 929 Serenia.
We're falling fast, and it just feels right.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only delicious, it's easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast, but you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree, Subway makes great steak!
Steak lovers, put down your knife and fork and pick up the steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
Welcome back to Frank Clair Stadium, where rookie Dave Chaters will replace Dexter Manley at defensive end for the rest of this game. Manley's come back on hold indefinitely. He has left for Ottawa Civic Hospital to have his left elbow x-rayed. Doctors fear it may be dislocated or in fact hyperextended, but they're not sure if there's a fracture. He'll be x-rayed. We'll find out the results probably sometime tomorrow morning. Don?
And Dave Chaters, a third-round pick by the Rough Riders in the CFL draft of 1992, will try and take advantage of the situation, getting an opportunity to play. Intended for Masadi, and it's incomplete. Patrick Burke had great position on Masadi all the way.
Great defensive play by Masadi. Burke had that inside position, and Ham threw it up for grabs. Looked like Burke was going to come up with the interception, but Masadi turned into a defensive back and was able to break it up, getting that hand in there, that left hand stripping Burke. Burke didn't concentrate. If he was a receiver, it'd be a bad play on his behalf. Warren Hudson working on Angelo Snipes. Snipes has had his hands full all night with Warren. Warren does not let too many defenders get past him. He takes pride in his work.
Hazard this time hangs on for a first down at the 43 of Ottawa. Remy Trudell and Brett Young combined to make the tackle.
Trudell has to feel very fortunate because he came up and didn't wrap up on that hit. Hazard almost regained his balance, and if he had regained his balance, Trudell is the safety. There was no one behind him.
He's number 24. He had 3 interceptions on the 4th of September in a game against the BC Lions. Masadi is the man Stefan Hamm was looking for down the sidelines, and again, he was well covered by Patrick Burke. Burke's done a pretty good job playing the corner position for Ottawa this year.
He has a lot of pressure up front by Kropke and Getz on that play. And when you talk about Trudell's 3 interceptions against the Lions, there was some talk last week when we did that game in Calgary that either McManus owed him something or he was colorblind.
Yeah, Danny McManus said, I was trying to make Trudell all Canadian. This one is intercepted, picked off by Joe Merrill. Wally Zatilny was the intended receiver. Masadi makes the tackle. Joe Merrill with his first interception. Merrill is the player almost forgotten by Ottawa fans. He was traded as part of the Les Brown deal with BC, but because of a continuing turf toe problem that started in training camp, he didn't get a chance to suit up for Ottawa until tonight.
Been injured all year, and this is actually his first game action of the season. He comes up with the big play. Tracy Hamm was feeling the pressure coming from the backside from Angelo Snipes. Snipes coming hard off the corner, a long run to get to Tracy, but he got there just a step slow, but Joe Merrill came up with the big INT.
Ottawa protecting a 1-point lead. The handoff straight ahead to Joseph, and Joseph fights for 3 or 4 yards.
Joseph is a slasher at that running back position. He doesn't come up and put his head down and gets up in the hole. He tries to find little seams, and that time you could see him hesitating in the backfield, and when he did that, it allowed the defensive front to close down those holes and was able to stop him for a minimal gain on the play.
He had a single gain and career high 171 yards in his CFL debut against the BC Lions as a running back. Sideline pattern incomplete. Stefan Jones stepped out of bounds. Jones is protesting that he was pushed out of bounds, but the officials don't agree with him.
They don't agree with him. They were right on top of that play also. Looked like Stefan might have had a foot on the line of scrimmage. You see him here working. He likes to work that deep outright route. That time he's working again on Trahan Lewis. Gets that foot squarely on the hash mark. Steps out of bounds on the play. Proper call by the officials on that play, but a great effort nevertheless by Stefan Jones.
7:07 remaining in the third quarter. Ray McAreedy on his last punt didn't make the tackle on Pinball Clemens, but he did force him back into the field and limited his return to 50 yards. Had he not made the play, the pinball was gone to the end zone. This time, McAreedy hits it off the side of his foot. His worst punt of the night. It's fielded by Gordon. Penalty flag in the play. Almost certainly this will be no yards, Ottawa.
Well, Ray McAreedy has done a lot of things right tonight. Just misfortune of a shank on the kick. Only got 31 yards out of it. The Argos returned it 6. They'll get the no yards penalty tacked on top of that, and they're going to start this drive with great field position.
No yards on the kicking team. The ball bounced. 5-yard penalty. The gain was greater. The penalty is declined. First down.
Well, you always talk about net yards on a punt. That one, although it only traveled 31 yards, was better than the previous kick because it was only returned 6. Previously, he kicked it 40 and had it returned 50.
But he did a great job, though, Don, when you look at it, because he kept the outside leverage, making pinball cut back, allowing his defense to get pursuit angles and get to him.
First and 10 from the 42. This is the pinball. He's got a hole, and he doesn't need much room. First down to the 20-yard line.
Excellent play call that time by Tracy Hamm. The right side of his offensive line, Smith Green and Yeri Rako on a search play that time. Getting the ball to pinball. You got Belanger pulling around outside, kicking out on Snipes, getting pinball up in the seam. And as you said, all he needs is a crack before Drawhorn could bring him down at the 20-yard line.
5:59 remaining in the third quarter. First and 10, Toronto. Hamm out of the shotgun. Handoff for pinball. He started to follow Darrell Smith. Stop, cut back. Stopped at the 15-yard line. Brett Young was there to make the tackle. It looked as though Clemens was going to reverse his field, but he has that stop-and-go quickness that enabled him to pick up 5 on the play.
Such tremendous athleticism by the pinball on this play. That inside counter once again. He stops in his track. Kropke stops. Kropke can't do that because pinball can accelerate from a dead stop, and he left him standing there before Young could bring him down at the 15-yard line.
Major foul face mask. Ottawa number 91. First down.
And Snipes, in making the tackle, was guilty of a face mask violation, so that provides Toronto with first and goal at the 7.
The Riders are looking a little tired defensively. They're all walking around with their hands on the hips. That's a sign of a little fatigue right now. They're breathing hard. They've been over at the line of scrimmage. They got to come up with a big play. Otherwise, the Argos might come close to putting this one away very soon.
Wally Zatilny slipped and fell in trying to get into a pattern. The ball goes to Jackson. He scores! Jackson simply followed Chris Green into the end zone.
Chris Green doing a tremendous job on the offensive line, pulling it around the big right offensive guard. You'll see him coming around, kicking out. Jackson with the stutter step, hides behind him. The Riders defenders cannot see him. Waltzes into the end zone to put the Argos up 21-16, awaiting the extra point.
And for a guy 5'9" and 175 pounds, it's easy to hide behind a guy 6'6", 305.
Not hard at all. And you like that luxury when you're a running back.
Lance Chomick adds the point after, and the Argos have their first lead of the football game.
Marathon Ford in Leamington is a proud sponsor of the CFL on the CBC Windsor.
It's my kind of game, Ma. It's fast and exciting.
Kind of like buying a new car or truck at Marathon Ford.
Leasing too, Ma. Folks, you owe it to yourself to check out
Marathon Ford.
Leasing too, Ma. Folks, you owe it to yourself to check out a marathon deal. Like the CFL, we're not the only game in town, but you like the way we do business.
Okay, son, go for a long one.
Marathon Ford, Leamington. Oh, keep an eye out for a little old lady with a great arm. Or better yet, me, the Cardio King, for a great deal.
Excuse me.
Us?
Yes, why Cashway?
Well, selection, quality.
A huge lumberyard.
It's where the contractors go.
Our satisfaction's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the Cashway commitment.
The anniversary sale.
Great prices.
Add style, security, and insulation to your home with the Rockman B06 Steel Entrance Store. Features a remarkable leak-proof adjustable sweep and a 5-year parts and labor warranty from $132.99.
It's a do-it-yourself paradise.
My dad shops at Cashway.
Mine too.
Cashway's anniversary sale. Buy with confidence.
It's Leon's amazing new Waive the Payments event. You can get all the quality home furnishings you need today from Leon's huge selection, and you don't have to pay till next May. Everything from wall units to lamps to sofas, and wave goodbye to all the payments. No down payment, no monthly payments, no interest till May. But you better hurry or you'll miss all the action.
This is your classic sweep play ran on goal line by the Argos offense. You get Green here at guard. You got Jackson. You're going to get Green pulling around. Jackson's going to come here with a stutter step, go around the corner, and he's going to waltz into the end zone. Green gets around, boom. There's Jackson with the stutter step, steps up in the seam into the corner of the end zone for the touchdown, a very elated running back.
Burke takes the ball at the 10-yard line. He finds a hole up the middle. Almost appeared to be a little surprised that things opened up for him, and then is belted down by Manny Hazard.
I wouldn't doubt that he was a little surprised on that play, Don. He's only averaging about 16 yards of return, so he was expecting to be hit, but great play by Pleasant.
A 28-yard run back by Patrick Burke, putting the ball at the 38-yard line. First and 10, Ottawa.
But you expect for your return team, when you find a seam like that, you have to explode. He almost came to a complete stop looking around for a defender, basically. He was unaccustomed to being in that domain.
Stephan Jones, wide right. Burgess tried to swing it out to Darren Joseph. It will be second and 10.
That was a lateral on that play, and Argos Van Bellingham did the right thing by picking that pass up, and the officials missed that one, I think, because Burgess is going to get away with his life. That was actually a lateral.
I don't agree with you. I think that was a forward-thrown football.
Ooh, controversy.
A little controversy here in the booth.
Let's take off these jackets.
Well, let's not go that far.
Oh, okay. We can negotiate this one out then, all right? Well, you'll see Burgess. He's standing up in front of the hash mark. Look where the ball comes down. Behind the... Ooh, Don. Want these glasses?
We better take a look at that from another angle. I won't concede yet, James.
All right.
Pass is complete this time. Jock Climby again.
Jock Climby has been a thorn in the Argo side all night long, just running that post route right down the middle of the field. That time he stopped at about 15 yards, sat down, picked up the first down. Now, Don, let's look at this here. We see Burgess. He's standing with it. Is that on the 31-yard line? Let's look at this pass.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, back at the 30.
One of the very few times that I've been wrong, James.
Well, I won't hold that against you. With your experience, we're going to allow that once or twice.
Well, this was a forward pass. And Stanley has a gain of about 3 or 4.
I hasten to say that the officials might have missed one, and I won't even get into that. But Graybill getting downfield on Costello, and that's what you want from your offensive lineman, to get down, make those downfield blocks. Ooh, that's one of those crushers. Costello's name is laying on the turf.
3:20 remaining in the third quarter. 22-16, Toronto leads. Graybill and Smith, rarities in the CFL, import offensive linemen. Deep for Stephan Jones, and Burgess overthrew him. There's a penalty flag. It would have been wiped out regardless because it's a holding call against Ottawa.
Well, Ottawa's finding a way to shoot themselves in the foot in that situation, but it was a second down and long, so they're going to decline the penalty on the play. You don't want to give Tommy Burgess another chance in this situation. You want to force him into the punting, get the punting team on the field, probably try to put some pressure on McAreedy in this situation.
Holding on the offense, number 58. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Ron Smeltzer was saying yesterday that the Rough Riders would try and get Stephan Jones involved in the football game early. They've had difficulties in trying to get the ball into his hands.
He's caught a couple of out routes, but just to get him down the field, what they've known for getting him on those streaks, he hasn't been able to get open tonight.
Mike Clemens, the lone man back for the third down punt by McAreedy. He was slow in getting the kick away. Clemens takes it at the 20, and Clemens is surrounded immediately, dropped for a loss of a couple of yards after a 37-yard kick by McAreedy.
But there you go once again with that net, a 37-yard net on the kick, which is so crucial on your specialty teams to not allow that big return to pin them down in that deep area of the field and make them march 100 yards if they're going to get a major.
2:42 remaining in the third quarter. Toronto leading 22-16.
The Riders started this game out like a house on fire. They got to come up with a big series here defensively, force the Argos to punt the ball back to them, and try to get some decent field position.
Hand off to the pinball. He finds a hole. And when he runs, you understand why he has acquired the nickname the pinball.
He's a small guy bouncing off of everyone. I mean, he is so elusive. You just don't get those square hits on him. That time, you see Snipes working outside on Green, but Warren Hudson coming up, pinning Snipes one-on-one. All rushing ends in this league hate to see Warren Hudson coming. That's a perfect example why.
Second and 3, and Warren Hudson, the ball carrier, but he's caught from behind by John Kroepke. And it looks as though he's stopped short of a first down. So it will be decision time for Bob Obilovich, and it really doesn't take him very long to make up his mind. He sends out the punting unit because it's third and more than a yard.
Well, that was a crucial series for the Riders defense. They needed to come out, stop the Argos offense, force them to punt. Hank Olisic has not been getting a lot of hang time on his punch. He's been kicking a lot of line drives tonight. And if he does one of those and the return guys do the proper thing, bringing that straight upfield, they should get the ball across midfield on this return.
He tore a quad muscle on the 5th of August against Sacramento. And obviously he has fully recovered because he has been hitting the ball very well tonight. Walter Stanley looks for a block. And as he tried to make a cut, he's decked by Bruce Elliott. Mark?
Well,
Don, the Argos have but 2 wins this season, and their road losses, though, are their worst streak. They hold a team record right now, this team right now, with 14 straight road losses. That's second worst in the CFL. They're en route right now to breaking it with a 22-16 lead over the Rough Riders.
And that last win on the road for the Argos was at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. 39-34. They beat the Ticats on October 27th, 1991. First and 10, Ottawa from the 50-yard line. Burgess forced to dump it off, and Sean Daniels is going nowhere. Tahan Lewis made sure of that.
Well, Burgess, unsure-footed back in the pocket. You cannot dance around like that when you're the quarterback. You have to plant those feet, find an open receiver. The pressure was not there in front of him. He just became impatient, and he cost his team 2 yards on that completion.
The feeling of the Toronto coaching staff was that they had to give Burgess a fair bit of zone look in tonight's game, because if they are in man-to-man, Bob Abilovich felt that Burgess would pick them apart. Burgess throws complete to Walter Stanley, and Reggie Pleasant came up and over top of Stanley.
Well, the Riders got a big break on that play because Stanley did not come to that ball. Pleasant was very close to knocking that away. Great athletic maneuver by Reggie Pleasant, coming over the top, not interfering with Stanley prior to the ball getting there. Wilbur and Harding running a stunt up front. Milburn getting trapped inside, but Harding with excellent pursuit, forcing Burgess to throw that pass.
This should be the final play of the third quarter. Wide open on the sidelines, Jock Quimey. What a night this Queens product is having here at Frank Clair Stadium. Another Ottawa first down, and that's the final play of the third quarter.
It has a responsive dual overhead cam engine, but it's not a Mercedes. It has a highly advanced multiple link suspension system, but it's not a BMW. It has dual airbags and 24-hour roadside assistance, but it's not a Lexus. It's an entirely different kind of luxury sedan. It's an affordable one. The new 1994 Nissan Altima, built for the human race.
Some people out there are asking Lipton cup of soup as a snack. Why? Darn good question. But I have a number of darn good answers. Cup of soup is easy to prepare. You can eat it anywhere. There are 26 flavors, but those are pretty technical reasons. To me, the best reason is that cup of soup is the only snack that feels like a nice warm hug from Mom. Think about it. Soup, warm, Mom, hug, cup of soup.
Participation. Active living makes family time precious. After 12 days at sea.
It's very hard to be away from the kids. Inevitably, you will miss some important event you wish you were home for. Instead of laying down on the couch watching, we're out doing. We are non-stop at our house until it's time to drop down and go to sleep.
Active living is your time together, moving your way every day. Participation.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Bell Canada.
51. Jock Quimey is having a career game tonight at Frank Clair Stadium. 5 passes for 162 yards. He has 938 yards for the season. Burgess forced to step up. He'll run. Hit by Reggie Pleasant, but not before he gets the first down.
You go back to that catch prior to the end of the quarter. You got Graybill, Konopoulos, Damon, Giaskas, Laramie, Burgess with plenty of time. You got Quimey getting both feet down. Great play to end the third quarter by the Riders.
Corey Philpott on the first possession by the BC Lions, scoring a touchdown. Lou Pasaglia adding the convert, and the BC Lions have a quick 7-0 lead on the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Now, this is a situation with second and short. You got your big backs in the backfield. You got to trust them to get you that, what do we call it, Don? You got the good eyes. The football length right there? Okay.
I'm not going to say anything about calling plays after I was wrong.
No. You made a slight
previous pass.
That was a slight error, not wrong. A slight error. But Burgess has to pick up his first down. This is what Smeltzer wants, him to be patient. Take the first down.
Burgess gives to Joseph, and Joseph should have the first down. It started just outside the 12-yard line. It looks as though he got to about the 11.
Now, Jock Climby has been his big go-to guy down here, but they said that they wanted to get Stephon Jones into the game. Working one-on-one, he'll probably be against Trahan Lewis on the right side. He's been good on that fade route, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go that direction in this series.
The last time we were at Frank Clair Stadium when Ottawa played the BC Lions, Ottawa had first and goal from the 1-yard line. 3 times Burgess attempted a quarterback sneak. 3 times he was denied.
You got to trust your running back. You got 2 running backs well over 200 pounds in the backfield. Those are the workhorses that should get you the yardage when you're in this situation.
This is where Burgess, as you said, has to be patient. Burgess checking off. Throws to the goal area. Penalty flag in the play. Rob Grifo is the man Burgess was looking for, being covered by Darren Hughes. The first time tonight that Burgess has gone to Rob Grifo. They were teammates when both were in Winnipeg. Grifo signed with Ottawa Monday.
Pass interference by the defense number 27 in goal area. First down on the 1.
Grifo released by Winnipeg on the 15th. He was asked to go on the practice roster. He said no. He had offers from BC and Toronto. Opted instead to sign with Ottawa. And in the end zone, the pass interference call provides Ottawa with a first and goal situation. Burgess gives to Sean Daniels. He's in.
BC game, he elected to try 3 consecutive quarterback sneaks. This time, Sean Daniels, his big fullback, ISO in the backfield, dive over the left tackle. Sean Daniels, 235 pounds. Van Bellingham could not hold him back. The Riders take the lead, tie the game, looking to take the lead.
Well, Ray McAready didn't get an opportunity for 1 convert attempt. This one is up and good. And we'll be back with the Ottawa kickoff after this.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard, you will find, to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart. Now here is the best part. You've got a head start if you are among the very young at heart.
Gene, I'm Mike Moore, owner of Premier Envelope. Remember? You helped us set up our new 800 entry service. I'm just writing to tell you, our 800 entry service now accounts for 40% of our business. Our customers love it because they know it's toll-free.
Now, for just $8 a month plus usage, you can have Bell 800 entry service without a service charge.
2 million envelopes and I can't find a stamp.
Listen up, folks. It's worth a trip to drop out to Ken Knapp Ford in beautiful downtown Essex.
Buy any new Ford car truck at Ken Knapp Ford, and we'll throw in return airfare for 2.
To the Sunbelt. That's right. Take your pick. Cancun, Disneyland.
The Turks and Caicos or Bermuda. It's all on us.
Ken Knapp Ford. Hey, one more reason why it's worth the trip to beautiful downtown Essex. 15 minutes to a better deal.
Our Christmas is saving you money.
The Last time these teams met, it was a one-point decision for Ottawa. Tonight, Ottawa leads by 1. Jock Climie gave the Rough Riders the lead. Wally Zatilny tied it on a 29-yard reception. Climie with his second touchdown of the game from 89 yards before the half. Hazard with a touchdown. Jackson gave Toronto the lead with a 7-yard run. And Sean Daniels has put Ottawa ahead by 1, driving in from the 1-yard line. Bobby Gordon on the kickoff return brings the ball back to the 44-yard line. 20-yard kickoff return. The Rough Riders moved 60 yards in 7 plays. One of the big plays, the penalty call, and Rob Crefo in the end zone, setting up the 1-yard plunge by Daniels.
Well, Sean Daniels with his first rushing TD of the season, just driving into the touchdown. You got an elated Tommy Burgess and offensive line right here. Guys, the big horses up front doing a great job, and he's giving praise to them, and they're very happy when they can get a rushing TD.
13-14 remaining in the game. 1st and 10 from the 44. Fake to the pinball. Ham buys some time, throws to the sidelines, and Robert Clark has a first down.
Robert Clark doing an excellent job working one-on-one with Joe Merrill. You see him loping off the line of scrimmage, then he gets into his strides, he breaks it off, comes back to the quarterback. That's what's so important, cradles the ball to his body, but working back towards the quarterback, you get that separation. You don't allow the defensive back an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Robert Clark with 3 100-yard plus receiving games this year with his first catch of the night. He's the Argos' leading receiver. Penalty flag as Ham is down back at the midfield stripe by John Kropke.
The true pressure came from Snipes and Bonner, the 2 backers on the blitz, coming from the right side, getting the pressure.
Holding on the offense, number 54. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
Lane Smith, the center, being the culprit on that play. But you see Bonner right there, along with Snipes, keeping Ham in the pocket, and Kropke able to come in there and get that gift of a quarterback sack. Big play by the Riders defense. That's what team play is all about.
2nd and 16. All sorts of movement at the line of scrimmage. Kerry Eliurenko may have come out of his stance prior to the ball being snapped.
Procedure on the offense, number 68. 2nd down repeat.
Things tend to come unraveled when teams are not accustomed to being in a dominant situation in a football game. The Argos have been struggling for most of the year, and it's been these little mental mistakes that have cost them in close, critical ball games.
Back at the 50, it's now 2nd and 21. Is after Tracy Ham. He throws it away, and there's a penalty flag. I think they are going to call him once again for intentional grounding.
Well, it's bound to happen sometime when you rush 7 and they only have 6 to block the 7, and that's what the Ottawa Rough Riders have done the past couple of plays.
Runner number 1. 3rd down.
Wow, that takes the ball back to the 33-yard line.
You see him, you got him here, you got him here, across the front. You get Snipes coming right to the seam. You got Hudson trying to pick him up. Great inside swim move. That's what defensive linemen like to do. Snipes with the great relentless pursuit on Ham, getting him to the ground. Right there, slammed him down, forcing Ham to dump that one off, cost his team on the grounding penalty.
3rd and 38. Walter Stanley takes the ball at the 40, and he's down immediately. 11:30 is the time remaining at Frank Clair Stadium.
Gene, I'm Mike Moore, owner of Premier Envelope. Remember? You helped us set up our new 800 entry service. I'm just writing to tell you, our 800 entry service now accounts for 40% of our business. Our customers love it because they know it's toll-free.
Now, for just $8 a month plus usage, you can have Bell 800 entry service without a service charge.
2 million envelopes, and I can't find a stamp.
At Andrew Lanou Pontiac Buick GMC, we'll do anything to sell you a brand new Andrew Lanou vehicle.
Like what?
How about I stand on my head for 5 minutes?
Oh, anybody can do that.
Oh, yeah? Can just anybody give you a great deal on the Buick Regal or save you a bundle on a loaded Pontiac Bonneville or a GMC pickup or a top-notch used vehicle?
Well, all that's good, but you've got to do something that's really hard to believe.
Well, how about if I get shot out of a cannon into the back of a GMC pickup truck?
Not bad. How about we pay you by the mile for that trick?
Get ready for Northwood. Passion's burning.
Back off, man.
Something's going down.
Let them go, Brian.
Growing up isn't kid stuff on Northwood. Monday at 7.
The honeymoon's over.
I don't deserve this.
And Olivia's putting the squeeze on Chuck.
You come through, you'll be a very rich woman.
The sizzling premiere.
Don't play games, Olivia.
Street Legal, Friday, October 8th.
Tomorrow afternoon in Edmonton with the Blue Bombers visiting the Eskimos. That one at 3 Eastern. Then tomorrow night, following late local news on CBC, we have the Portuguese Grand Prix. The pole sitter Damon Hill still chasing the #1 man in the points race, Alain Prost.
Yes, Winnipeg and Edmonton going at it tomorrow. Both teams trying to rebound after losses last week. Edmonton losing 34-10 to Hamilton. The Bombers 35-26 to Toronto. Darren Joseph takes the pitch. He's forced to reverse his field, and he's dropped for a loss by Daryl Milburn. We saw Reggie Slack warming up. What do you think, James?
Well,
is Mobilovich going to make a change?
It seems to be that time, because right now Tracy seems to be struggling a little bit. Earlier he had commanded the game, and right now the past couple of series he hasn't made the proper play calls. He's made some bad decisions. He hasn't made the adjustments at the line of scrimmage, recognizing the defense. It might just be good to put Slack in for a couple of series or a couple of plays.
2nd and 15, Ottawa. Burgess throwing deep. Stefan Jones, goodbye. The big play has been a key weapon tonight for the Rough Riders. An 89-yard touchdown to Jock Climbing. 76 yards, the touchdown toss to Stefan Jones.
Well, they felt working one-on-one Stefan out on Trahan Lewis. Lewis looking into the backfield, had been lulled to sleep. Stefan stayed deep on the fly. Great concentration. Excellent pass by Tommy Burgess. Stefan Jones, once he gets in the open, you're not going to track him down. Touchdown Riders.
Stefan Jones, the Argo killer this year. He beat them with a last-second touchdown on August the 26th. And this 76-yard touchdown with 10:16 remaining in the fourth quarter makes it a 30-22 Ottawa lead.
Trahan Lewis has not seen Stefan Jones go deep all night long, and he has been lulled to sleep on that play. Burgess, look at the offensive line doing a marvelous job of blocking in front of Burgess. Giving him all day, no pressure at all in the pocket. He's airing it out. Stefan's down the sideline. Whitley with no chance of getting there. He outran the angle. Celebration in the end zone. Riders up 30-22.
Well, the 24,000 plus at Frank Clair Stadium certainly enjoying things this evening. This stadium renamed after the longtime coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders, one of the most successful in the team's history. Bobby Gordon bounced off a couple of tackles and picks up about 7 or 8 more yards before being dropped at the 44.
Bobby Gordon.
Well, after losing 5 yards on their first play, the Riders struck with a 76-yard pass to Stefan Jones, and with the convert by McAreedy, they now have an 8-point lead.
Well, when you get a 76-yard pass, it generally helps out your average for the evening, and Stefan taking in a little extra oxygen after that long sprint on that play. And we got Reggie Slack in at quarterback now for the Argos. You called it correctly, Doc.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Slack swings it out to Pinball Clemens. tried to take Brett Young out of the play, and had he been able to make the block, the pinball might have gotten to the outside, but Young was able to fight off the block and make the tackle. Reggie Slack's big outing of the year was against the Hamilton Ticats on the Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately for the Argos, the end result was a 1-point loss as Paul Osbaldiston hit a field goal of 42 yards late in the game, as a matter of fact, in the final play of the game, to give the Ticats a win. Slack throws for Clark. Can't quite get to it. What an easy throwing motion he has.
He has such a fluid and deliberate throwing motion. When you look at him, you know, they showed his numbers up there. He has the 3 touchdown passes. Those came against the Riders the first time that they played. He has not thrown a touchdown pass since that game. You look at Clark running down, just a gliding stride, just right off the fingertips. But Reggie Slack, he throws that ball so smoothly, nice tight spiral. Clark just not enough to get there. Gets the pressure in his face by Bonner right there as he releases the ball, but Reggie Slack not concerned with the pressure.
Hank Alisic's 3rd down punt is taken by Anthony Drawhorn on the run and forced out of bounds by Ken Benson. How important are 2nd down conversions? Well, in the first half, the Argos converted 8 of 14. In the second half, they've managed to convert 1 of 12.
You cannot move the ball down the field with low numbers like that on that 2nd down conversion. You have to be up around that 45-50% range to keep those drives alive. The Argos have not been able to do that here in the second half, and the scoreboard shows the results of that time.
8:50 remaining in the game. 1st and 10 Ottawa. The Riders at their own 45-yard line. Pretty good numbers for Tom Burgess tonight. 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah,
now 170 on his career. Sorry, James. I think he deliberately threw that short to Sean Daniels, realizing he was covered on the sidelines. One other game in the CFL tonight, no change. Corey Philpott's touchdown still standing as the BC Lions lead Saskatchewan 7-0 in the first quarter.
Well, recognizing early in the third quarter he had completed a pass like that where he had lost 2 yards on the play, recognizing that similar situation, decided to throw that one in the turf, not cost his team any yardage, but regroup for 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 12 or 13.
Draw play, 2nd and 10, or the fake draw play. Joseph did a pretty good job of faking the play. The pass intended for Jock Climie, and it was between Climie and Joseph. I got fooled in that one. I thought he had given it to Darren Joseph.
We won't even say that's the first time tonight either, okay? But an excellent job by Tommy Burgess. He did utilize the slip there really good on Darren Joseph, getting outside of the pressure, not being able to find an open receiver, just throwing the ball into a vacant spot in the field. Climie might have had an opportunity to go after that one. Donnie Moen, the veteran linebacker, coming up the middle, working very hard on that play.
Clemens waits for the 3rd down punt at the 25-yard line. And he won't get any further than the 30 with 7:58 remaining in the game.
Last year, there were nearly 40 million oil changes in Canada. Unfortunately, not one line of oils could provide the ultimate defense against viscosity breakdown. But now there's Castrol GTX, the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. So once again, it's time to change your oil. New Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines. Castrol GTX, now available at these and other leading retail outlets.
This Nike commercial is boring.
It's just Bo in the gym.
I can do that.
Where are the dancing girls?
Where's the singing?
I missed the montage style of editing.
It's just Bo in a gym.
Only a Nike commercial in a barbershop would be more boring.
Even Nike's not that dumb.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only delicious, it's easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast, but you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree. Subway makes great steak!
Steak lovers, put down your knife and fork and pick up the steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
From Frank Clair Stadium, as we look into downtown Ottawa, we see the Peace Tower on Parliament Hill. 24,000 plus at Frank Clair Stadium for tonight's game. On the Wall of Fame at Frank Clair Stadium, the former coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders and the former outstanding quarterback, Russ Jackson, have their names and numbers posted on the wall. On October 9th, when the Winnipeg Blue Bombers visit, a third Ottawa player will be inducted into the Wall of Fame. Angelo Snipes got to Warren Hudson and dropped him for a loss of 1.
Blowing in from the right side of the Ottawa defensive front, Angelo Snipes has played a pretty good football game tonight. That time able to get to Hudson in the backfield for a loss of 1 before he can get a hit of steam going.
Reggie Slack taking over from starter Tracy Ham as the Toronto quarterback. 2nd and 11, Toronto. The Argos trail by 8 points. Here comes the pressure. Slack tried to dump it off to the pinball. He took it on a bounce.
Well, we've seen some strange things tonight that look like a forward pass. I won't go out and say it was a lateral, but it looked like a forward pass on the play that bounced to the turf. Pinball picked it up, started running with the ball. The officials elected not to blow the whistle on the play.
Oh, that was behind him.
Huh?
Can I borrow your glasses?
I'm glad to start sitting. He's out to loan us more than just you. I'll bring some next week.
Is that what you refer to in football terminology as a bounce pass? Drawhorn takes it at the midfield stripe. Going to be a penalty as Ken Benson was hit in the back. And now at midfield, Joe Sardo has some words with Brian McCurdy. I think the penalty call is going to go against Joe Sardo as Benson was hit in the back on the return by Anthony Drawhorn.
You know, stepping back to that last play that we had where Pinball picked it up off of the bounce, which I don't know is too legal.
Illegal block, number 36 on the return team. First down.
You know, it struck similarities to a play earlier where they elected not to call a lateral and call it a forward pass, and you had a similar situation come back. Slack threw the ball out. It clearly bounced on the turf. You get a shot of Sardo with the clip on Benson on the return that cost the Riders a lot of field position on that play.
6:30 remaining. 1st and 10. Fake inside to Joseph. Sideline pattern. And Stephan Jones manages to keep his feet inbounds for an Ottawa first down.
Stephan Jones with excellent footwork on the sideline. Tommy Burgess seems to have found a comfort zone right now in playing quarterback. Jones driving off very hard on Trelahan Lewis. Got him turned around once again. The young cornerback is out there in no man's land tonight. He's stuck on that island and he's having a lot of problems.
Stephan Jones, a player the Rough Riders thought they'd get into the ball game early. They're getting him involved late, and he's making a major contribution. Darren Joseph runs for 9, stopped by Kevin Whitley.
And that's what happens when you start spreading out. You got Burgess constantly running the sprint out. You got the defense flowing with his first step. All of a sudden he runs the search run with Joseph cutting back against the flow, able to pick up 8 yards on first down.
One of the problems the Rough Riders have had this year is scoring points. Only the Hamilton Ticats have scored fewer points than Ottawa. Coming into the game, the Rough Riders, 242 points through their first 11. Burgess is going to be called for intentional grounding. Burgess ran out of room on the sidelines, but rather than take the big loss, he opted to simply throw it down the sidelines, and there wasn't a receiver anywhere close.
Ottawa number 13, third down.
Or as we sometimes say in the West, within a bull's roar.
Yeah, this was in a Canyons toss, so basically when you look at it, Burgess This is what you call being impatient. If he had stayed within the pocket, he had no open receiver. Just take it out of bounds. Pope, you know, hitting him just as he goes out of bounds, but no harm done on that play, evidently. Tommy Burgess has to be patient. He cost his team when they had a drive going in this situation.
I think for a moment, Poe thought he was going to get flagged for roughing the quarterback.
He stayed down, holding his head down, saying, maybe it's not me.
5:14 remaining in the ball game. McAreedy's kick to the pinball at the 5. Still twisting and squirming. And what a job he did of getting back to the 28-yard line when it looked as though he was going to be stopped after a run back of just about 5.
Well, excellent return, 45-yard punt, 22-yard return, and excellent return. But, you look at Clemens here on this return. This guy is so tough to corner. When you look at it, he stops and accelerates so quickly. Rough Riders are bouncing off of him, gets out to the sideline. Might have stepped out of bounds. They're very close. Official right on top of it. Didn't see it that way. But you look at the Riders defense. They've sort of picked up the tempo. Dexter Manley has left the game. A lot of disruption for the past 2 weeks with this team. They have the team on the field right now they felt they were going to finish the game with. And they've been playing good football here in the second half.
Robert Clark grabs the slack throw for a first down at the 41. He caught it in front of Remy Trudell.
Got Joe Merrill down on the field. He and Trudell collided as they were bringing Clark down on that play, and Merrill is still down on the turf.
And that gives Slack an opportunity to go over and talk with Obilovich with 4:28 remaining.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only delicious, it's easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast, but you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree, Subway makes great steak!
Steak lovers, put down your knife and fork and pick up the steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
Joe Merrill had an earlier interception in his first game as an Ottawa Rough Rider playing tonight here at Frank Clair Stadium. The injured player, what a tough year it's been for Joe Merrill, acquired in trade, and then he suffered the injury, and he takes the shot in the head from Remy Trudell, a turf toe at training camp that kept him out of the lineup until tonight. Remy Trudell coming in trying to help on the tackle, and Robert Clark, and he drove his helmet right into the helmet of Joe Merrill.
That's the one thing the defensive players have always been leery about, is their own defensive backs. It's always been noted that those guys play with their eyes closed, and they'll come in and hit anything. And that time he lined up his own teammate. And hopefully for Joe that he'll be able to get up off the turf. You know, you hate to see the medical staff. There you go. He's moving his legs. That's a great sign to see that he has those legs moving. Those extremities, once they start moving, you breathe a sigh of relief. And Joe Merrill has his legs and his arms flexed right now. That's a great sight to see.
Well, the Ottawa team doctor has come onto the field.
Well, he took a heck of a hit in the side of the helmet there. Trudell was coming up to make the hit. The receiver, Clark, had slid down right in front of him. Merrill was exposed, his head, and they collided right there. And Trudell had that running start. He absorbed all of that right in the shot in the side of the head.
Dr. Mark Aubry is out helping the Ottawa trainers with Joe Merrill.
Well, he's sitting up now, Don. That's another, even a better sight to see.
You know, I mentioned that the Argos have been slow starters all season. They've only registered 23 points in the first quarter of the 11 games they played this season, and they were shut out in the first quarter tonight.
Yeah, that's not a good sign to see when you have a team with a 2-9 record and you're trying to find winning ways. And coming out tonight, the Ottawa Rough Riders able to get on the scoring board first tonight gave them a big boost. You know, it looked like they were going to take control of the game late in the second quarter. The Argos were able to come back and score with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half, come out, put some points on early in the third. But right now, the Riders seem to be in more command of the game, leading 30-22, and the Argos even had to change quarterbacks tonight.
Joe Fuller comes into the game, replacing Merrow on the corner. 1st and 10. Slack at the controls of the Toronto offense. Getz was after Slack. Slack now being pursued by Snipes, and he's caught. Kulka and Bonner were also there, but it was Getz who flushed Reggie Slack out of the pocket.
Reggie Slack sitting in the pocket. Great pressure right up the middle by Getz, hurdling Clemens. But Angelo Snipes, Brian Bonner, Glenn Kulka doing a tremendous job tonight in pursuit, getting Slack for the loss of 5 on the play. This Rider defense, as I said, once Dexter Manley went out, they picked up the tempo, and they're playing like a house on fire.
Slack on 2nd down for Wally Zatilny, and he's got a penalty flag in the play. I think this could be a face mask call as Zatilny is hauled down at the 41-yard line.
Such a relaxed passer, Reggie Slack just sits in the pocket and just lofts that ball out. A nice, tight, soft spiral. Zatilny able to run under it for the big play.
Major foul face mask on the defense, number 23. 1st down.
Well, don't go away, folks. This one is not over. 1st and 10, Toronto at the 26-yard line.
Zatilny operating at the slot position, running a post route straight down the middle of the field. Slack laying it out. Zatilny running under it, being grabbed by the face mask at the end to tack on another 15 to that reception.
Zatilny scored the Argos' first touchdown. Bob Obilovich starting Zatilny at the slot position for a 2nd straight game. Slack running the option. He decides to carry inside the 25-yard line. 2:59 is the time remaining at Frank Clair Stadium.
With all the construction going on in Leamington, it's tougher than usual getting to Marathon Ford. Plus, it's hard keeping the dust and dirt off the car. So if you make the trip, Marathon Ford will make it worth your while during Marathon Ford's construction sale. We've got hot deals on this beautiful 93 Mustang convertible or this Taurus SHO. Your choice, only $495 a month. Drive home a hot deal today at Marathon Ford in Leamington. Right, Ma?
Oh, contrary, son.
It's Leon's amazing new Waive the Payments event. You can get all the quality home furnishings you need today from Leon's huge selection, and you don't have to pay till next May. Everything from wall units to lamps to sofas, and wave goodbye to all the payments. No down payment, no monthly payments, no interest till May. But you better hurry or you'll miss all the action.
Hello, I'm Paula Goche, and I invite you to tune in to the Valente Real Estate Showcase Sunday mornings at 9:30 right here on CBC Windsor. Each week, we profile over 40 properties in Essex County. We also feature new homes, commercial properties, and John Peterson will be along with information on how to do things, where to buy, and conversations with local experts. That's the Valente Real Estate Showcase Sunday morning at 9:30 on CBC Television, Windsor 9.
Welcome back to Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa, where the Riders lead the Argos 30-22 with just under 3 minutes left to play in this game. And on the Ottawa bench, Joe Nero continues to get medical attention. The Rider doctors believe he may have suffered a hyperextension of his neck on that hit by Remy Trudel. They're still working with him, though, and he'll stay out of the game indefinitely. Don?
So Joe Fuller continues to operate on the corner, lined up against Robert Clark as Toronto scrimmages 2nd and 8. Pass complete on the sidelines to Zatilny, but he's short of a 1st down.
When you're in a situation like that at quarterback, you have to recognize where you are on the field. You got a 2nd and 8, a 3-yard pass most likely will not get you a 1st down. Slack threw the ball on a quick slant to the outside and out route to Zatilny. He had too much forward momentum going to be able to turn upfield, and now he's forced with a 3rd down and 3.5 situation.
A 3rd down gamble here for the Argos, and this could be the ball game. Throws into the end zone. Incomplete. He was looking for Zatilny.
Great pressure once again, Don. Edge of those snipes, Brian Bonner. Bonner has been an impact player here tonight. They brought in Manley with all the hoopla. They brought in Bonner with some controversy, a late release in the preseason by the coaching staff. But he has come back tonight. He said he felt no remorse about coming back to Ottawa, and he has played. It's good to see that a player. He didn't come in with a lot of talk this week. He felt he needed to play first. And you see Bonner coming here on that spy, coming in, meeting slack, just as he tried to deliver that ball, caught him in the chest. The ball fell to Ryder. Zatilny, big play that the Riders need to finish.
Well, maybe the decisions by the Glebermans provided some inspiration for Ottawa's defensive unit.
Well, it did provide some inspiration, and especially for the defensive front, because that's where all the mayhem had been made by the ownership of this club by interfering in the defensive front. The Riders, it wasn't a problem with their defense. Their offense had been very anemic coming into this game. Their defense had played well all year, and they've played well tonight.
The third turnover tonight by the Argos. Darren Joseph, the ball carrier. He takes the ball to the 20-yard line. When you look at the record of the Ottawa Rough Riders, they've lost 3 games by 1 point, 1 game by 3 points, another game by 4 points, 5 games by a total of 10 points. Those games could just as easily have gone the other way and turned the entire year around for Ron Smeltzer.
They could have swung around completely, and with that situation, you would not have had all the outside interfering, all the consultants coming in, and owners basically want to make coaching decisions.
Intended for Stephan Jones, incomplete. So with 2:16 remaining, the Argos are going to get the ball back.
Jones doing an excellent job of finding an open spot in the field. Tommy Burgess has to pull up sometime where he can stop and get more on that ball so it doesn't float. You'll see it float away from Jones. He had great separation from Trahan Lewis, but the ball went awry by Burgess by running with his momentum towards the sideline, not allowing himself to pull up and deliver that ball properly to Jones on the play.
Ray McAreedy will be heading back to Etobicoke tomorrow morning. He'll be back teaching school on Monday. Terry Baker is expected to return to the lineup to handle the kicking chores for the Rough Riders next week.
Don, you look at the Argos. They came into this game. They've had 3 turnovers tonight in this game. They were worst in that department in the league coming into the game. They were at a -19. When you have numbers like that, you generally end up on the losing end of many scores.
Kevin Whitley is the injured player. There's the gentleman who took over as president of the Toronto Argonauts, Ron Barbaro, and his first move was to hire Bob Obilovich as head coach. Trying to rekindle football interest in the city of Toronto. Nothing will do it quicker than a winning record. We'll see these two teams again next Sunday on CBC television. They'll play at the Sky Dome beginning at 1:30 Eastern Time.
Well, it'd be safe to say by that time they'd be very well acquainted with each other. And little tips that occurred tonight during the game might carry over next week's contest. You know, when you look at it all in all, we've seen a very well-played football game here tonight in Ottawa, Don. I mean, it has been very few penalties. Not that some of them were not missed. But, you know, the players have come out giving their all, and you really have to take your hat off to this Ottawa Rough Rider Football Club. With all that has been going on in the press, the circus-type atmosphere around here, all the distractions, coaching staff not knowing who's in charge. They've lost 2 coaches a week and a half ago. They decided to resign because they couldn't bring themselves to make some player changes within the lineup that the owners wanted to make personally. So they said they would let them do it because they felt loyalty to the players that had been here working all year long.
McAreedy hits it off the side of his foot, but it will bounce out of bounds up at the 48-yard line. 2:09 is the time remaining. You know, in retrospect, I wonder if Bob Obilovich might be thinking he should have gone for a field goal on the previous series.
You know, it might have been the proper call with an 8-point differential. You go for the field goal, you bring it down to 5, you're within a touchdown of taking the lead. Now, even if you score 2 touchdowns, a 2-point convert is not an automatic.
2:09 remaining. Gordon lines up wide to the left.
Look for the blitz.
Handoff to the pinball. He cuts back inside and gets a gain of about 5 before being decked by John Kropke. Kropke has played a strong football game tonight for Ottawa. It was a decision that Coach Ron Smeltzer had to make as to whether it would be Kropke or LeBrant Robinson dropped from the roster in favor of Dexter Manley. He made the decision that Robinson would sit out this game, but he has told the two that he will probably alternate. But now Manley isn't going to be able to play because of the injury. Wally Zatilny was the man that Slack was looking for.
But great pressure up the middle by Getz and Kropke. They both got the slack just as he was delivering that ball, and Zatilny short-armed it. Did not extend himself fully. The ball pressed off his fingertips. You got to make every effort to bring the ball in when you're a receiver in a critical situation like that, especially.
Another third down gamble for Toronto. Slack throws for Hazard, knocked away. Fine play on the sidelines by Joe Fuller.
Great pressure though once again. Greg Stuman, Brian Bonner, Greg Stuman, Angelo Snipes, but Joe Fuller beaten on the play, able to recover. Slack hung that one up too long, didn't get enough on it. The ball floated out there, and he was able to get that hand up at the last moment to save the big play for the Argos.
Joe Fuller today celebrating his 29th birthday, and what a way to celebrate.
You see the hit on Slack just as he releases. You can see that ball starting to wobble. Hazard was behind Fuller. Fuller did the smart thing. Go to knock the ball away, not try to intercept it. Stuman, along with Snipes, meeting Slack, and he felt all of that crunch right there in the pocket.
1:45 remaining here at Frank Clair Stadium. The Rough Riders with victories this year over Toronto and Sacramento, trying for their 3rd win of the year as Darren Joseph takes it up to the 46. Don Moan and Keith Poe made the tackle. Time now the enemy of the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, right now, Tommy Burgess has to be very smart in what he's doing. You look at Donnie Moan working right there at his middle linebacker along with Keith Poe, the defensive end, stopping Joseph for a short gainer on that play. Tommy Burgess needs 8 yards for a first down.
He swings it out to Darren Joseph. Darren Hughes comes up to make the tackle, stopping him short of a first down.
Excellent hit by Hughes on that play coming up on Joseph. Joseph is just a slashing type of run. He's not very elusive in the open field. He's just straight ahead, and you can see it on that play. He couldn't make the plant change direction and alter his course downfield, and he was brought down after a short gain on the play.
Andrew Thomas in the ball game, replacing the injured Kevin Whitley, and he had a hand in the stop on Darren Joseph with 1:18 remaining and a timeout taken by the Toronto Argonauts.
And McAreedy sitting back there with ice water running through his veins because he hasn't thought about this all night. He is basically back there having fun. He came in on a last moment's notice, teaching class yesterday in Etobicoke, tonight punting in Frank Clair Stadium.
Yeah, he's been a pretty cool customer back there for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and he's done quite an amazing job.
Great punt.
Angled it towards the sidelines. They're trying to hem in the pinball, and they do the job. Penalty flag, though, as Sardo put a late hit on Michael Clemens. That was a 44-yard punt by McAreedy, but Sardo hit Clemens when he was out of bounds after a 10-yard return.
Well, you got Clemens working hard on the sideline over here. Trudeau gets him. Yeah, he's clearly a step out of bounds. Sardo comes and levels one on him, knocks him up in the kicking net. Really going to cost the Riders on this play. You got to be more heads up on a play like
36,
this.
First down.
1:06 is the time remaining. It will be 1st and 10 Toronto. The ball is at the 42. Updating the game in Vancouver, the Lions now with a 3-point advantage over Saskatchewan, leading 10-7. Slack out of the shotgun, throws to the sidelines for Masadi. He was out of bounds.
The pressure is coming on the Slack. The Riders know that he has to pass the ball. They're pinning their ears back. Angelo Snipes has been a terror here in the second half, working on Smith, turning the corner with no problem whatsoever. Slack in his grasp, making him forcing him to throw the ball early.
1:02 remaining.
You're looking at Angelo's eyes right there. That's the intensity of a football game you're seeing in this man's eyes. He's sitting there. He's on a mission, basically. He wants to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, Angelo Snipes has really played a solid game for Ottawa. Brian Bonner has actually played a pretty good game as well, coming back to the nation's capital after going to Saskatchewan when he was released at training camp.
Well, when you look at their linebacking core as a whole, Getz has done an outstanding job tonight. He's come in on several blitzes, made big hits, but Bonner coming back in tonight after being in Saskatchewan actually was the Green Riders' leading tackler prior to the trade coming back here to Ottawa, but he's had a stellar performance along with Snipes on the defensive side. Snipes seems to be getting back into his 92 form tonight.
A win tonight for Ottawa would give them a big edge. Not only would they be 2 points up, but they will have won the season series. Pass is knocked away by Remy Trudel. Patrick Burke performed a juggling act with the football, but couldn't bring it down. It was intended for Manny Hazard.
Well, Hazard on a post route. Got behind the inside halfback Drawhorn. He let him go. Trudell came over from safety, got behind Burke, made a great play on the ball, knocked it up in the air. Burke had it in his hands twice. Just was not able to pull it in. Would have basically salted the game away for the Riders on that situation.
55 seconds remaining, 2nd and 10. Was throwing for Wally Zatilny. He overthrew him. And it's 3rd down and out for the Toronto Argonauts, and the Ottawa Rough Riders take over with 51 seconds remaining.
A turnover on downs, 2 out of the last 3 drives. Make that 3 out of the last 3 drives by the Argos. The situation not being able to convert, you alluded to that earlier, Don, that they were only 1 of 11 here in the second half at one point, and they've not been able to get their last 3 third down.
Already taken their timeout. And Burgess took almost a full 20 seconds off the clock. Now he's going to go down again back at the 35-yard line with 20 seconds remaining. Now he can run the clock out because the Argos can't stop it.
He can run the clock out, take the snap right at the 0 without a delayed call game.
Well, Burgess on both those plays was looking at the scoreboard clock. So he was able to determine just how much time remained in the game. We have an injured Ottawa Rough Rider.
Got one of the offensive linemen, Giostis, down on the field, number 58. Got banged up right there on that play.
The Riders don't have a great deal of depth along the offensive line. Bruce Beaton is the backup, but Beaton is very inexperienced.
Well, at this point with 20 seconds, I think he has enough experience to get through a 20-second play. It's only going to be 1 rep, so. But right now, the fans here at Frank Flair saw an excellent played football game tonight by the Ottawa Rough Riders. A game sorely needed by them to get back in the winning ways. And basically, as we came in, this was a battle for last place in the East. When you look at it, the team that lost this game really had that uphill battle. Hamilton seems to have almost a lock on second place. Winnipeg has basically won the Eastern Division. The struggle right now is for that third and final playoff spot.
Burgess watches the clock, and the final seconds tick away, and the fireworks celebrate the third win of the season for the Ottawa Rough Riders as they defeat the Toronto Argonauts 30-22, and in the process, the Argos move into sole possession of third place. And these same two teams go at it again next Sunday at the Sky Dome in Toronto. But at the moment, the Ottawa Rough Riders have the edge. They are in third place, 2 points ahead of the Argos.
You really have to feel for Coach Ron Smeltzer in this situation. You know, you look at him with all of what he's had to go through, with all the meddling, as you would say, from ownership coming in saying that they want to take control of coaching decisions, and he did a marvelous job of orchestrating a game plan tonight, sticking to it. He made the statement coming out, a very bold and brash statement. I'm going to stay with Dexter Manley until he's hurting us. Then he'll finish the game on the bench. It did get to that point. Dexter ended up hurt. Ron Smeltzer was able to incorporate the players he wanted on the field defensively. They performed, holding the Argonauts to 22 points, but the offense came up with the big plays when needed. Stefan Jones, Jacques Climie with the big touchdowns tonight.
And Smeltzer said that he told his players, don't use what has been going on this week as an excuse, and obviously they didn't, as they win it 30-22. Mark?
Well, Don, I'm joined by Jacques Climie, who continues to have a career season in the CFL. 2 more touchdowns tonight. Jacques, you're 57 yards short of 1,000. This must be a great feeling.
Yeah, it's that was my goal this year. You know, I wasn't going to be satisfied with anything less than 1,000. But, you know, way more important than that, I know you always hear this, and probably the fans are sick of it, but we needed this win desperately, and I was really happy that I could contribute in some way to this win.
Tell me about the feeling of dissent and controversy within this team. It seems finally you're able to put the matter on the field and put the circus aside when it comes to Dexter and the coaches and the owners.
Well, this week I thought, well, we had the week off last week. The past 2 weeks, in my opinion, was some of the most tumultuous weeks I've had in the CFL, just in terms of dissension within the locker room and people not really happy with what they were seeing going on around them off the field. But that's why this victory is so important. Because this is going to bring us together, and this is going to just let everybody know that all that stuff off the field really has no impact on the things that go on the field.
John, coming into this game, your offense was second worst to Hamilton's, but you're breaking free tonight. Here's your first touchdown of the game, making it 7-0. Tell us about it.
Well, this was a hook read. I'm supposed to run a hook, and if it's cover 0, I'm running through. And in fact, Tom was throwing the post pattern, and I was preparing to settle down in the hole, and we were really fortunate to come up with a touchdown there.
Well, Jock, congratulations on a big game. Canadian receivers continuing to make a big impact in this league.
Love to see that.
Jacques Climie of the Ottawa Rough Riders as they beat the Argos 30-22 to take the first game of this home-and-home series with the Argos. We'll be back to Ottawa right after this.
The Dogs pound to buy tickets as the Browns visit the Indianapolis Colts.